Welcome to Shardcast, the Brandon Sanderson podcast. We're a bunch of mega fans giving you the news, discussion, and of course, a whole lot of opinions about Brandon's works in the Cosmere. I'm Eric, and joining me is Ian.
Hey, I'm Weiry.
Also, coming to us from the universities of Silverlight is Evgeni. What's up?
Is it the universities or is it the university? We shall never know. Hi, I'm Argent.
Hi. Also joining us, we got David.
Hello. I am a friendly Windrunner on the Discord with no negative offers to bring. I'm a positive, friendly Windrunner. That didn't really work so well. We can cut that.
I'm leaving it in. I'm leaving it in.
No, I think we're keeping all of it in, including this.
Oh no.
Yes.
Oh no.
No. Okay.
Also joining us, we have Bonnie, and you have a little friend.
I do.
Yeah.
Suck.
How are you
Cosmeregirl.
feeling? How are you feeling about seeing your dead body everywhere?
How's that? How are
You
you
get
doing?
used to it after a while.
Maybe
Okay.
she's not seeing it. Maybe she lives a safe life.
Yeah, I mean, if your house is that dangerous, I mean, that
Maybe
might
just
be-
stay away from that light bulb over there.
Yeah. Like, is it adjust to your level of risk? You know, like obviously Dusk has like a ton of dangers, but like, are you like, oh, there's somebody, like there I am being hit by a car, not looking both ways. Like there I am, at the electrical panel.
you will stub your toe here. Beware.
I was
That's it. You learned it here. Always look both ways when crossing the street.
I mean, yes. If you're learning that for the first time, put your comments below. I'm coming back from just giving a lecture on a new world. I am Chaos, also Professor Lake, because that is my last name, and I am a professor. So that's just in case people didn't
That's
know. But
mathematics and other planets, the two common subjects that go together,
yes, exactly. Cool. We are going to talk about Isles of the Emberdark. Secret Project 5. There's another new Brandon book, and I think going to be our only Cosmere for a while, so enjoy that. But
as far as we know, right? We thought we were going to have a low, and then Brandon dropped 4 on top of us. So
yeah, I mean, betting against Brandon writing more things is always unwise. But we got Emberdark. Before we go into like kind of general spoiler thoughts, I just want to say, this is a reactions episode, so there will be opinions. That's why we have the opinions part in the intro. And so, we'll talk about the book itself, what we think of it. It'll be a little more meta. We'll talk about some in-world stuff. Evgeni, oh my god. And so we're gonna say what we like and what we don't like. We're gonna be honest. We've always done that, so we're always gonna do that. And so if that's not your jam, that's fine. Cool. And we're going to dig into details because this is like episode 264, I think. Like I think we dig into stuff on this show, maybe, guys. I don't know.
so I installed an extension that tells me how long playlists are on YouTube.
Okay.
When I play them, and how much of them I have watched. Let's see if it's
like an estimate of how many hours of content like we have produced.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. This is good. I used to have a spreadsheet, but I haven't updated it in probably 100 episodes.
258 episodes at the moment.
That is
averaging a length of 3.5 hours each.
That is not the correct count for sure. Some didn't get in the playlist, clearly.
Well, are we including the Shardkeepers podcast?
No. Those don't count.
And there are a couple that were streamed.
So those should be in the playlist, but I may have forgotten.
Okay, hold up. My Chrome is lagging, attempting to calculate the total.
That might tell you all you need to know.
There you go.
There's a lot of content, guys. We got a lot of content here on the show.
Okay, nope, still going up.
Like imagine my tab count extension just like hanging and dying. Like it's not done that on desktop.
Okay.
But I have closed. Yeah. What'd you got?
I think we have locked in on 408 hours.
That sounds about right. Sure. Yeah.
And a half.
Yeah. So we've dug into some things sometimes.
That's less than 2 hours on average.
That seems wrong. I literally was like, really?
There's a lot of shorter
Were there?
episodes at the beginning before we,
Yeah.
really perfected our craft in Rhythm of Wartime, and we were doing every other week. So
Yes.
Once the audience was like, guys, what? I get through an hour and then I'm just like, can't there be more? And we were like, oh, don't worry. We can.
45 minutes on Oathbringer epigraphs part 2, over 2 hours for Rhythm of War epigraphs letters.
Hell yeah, baby.
Hey. All right,
We
let's
have
talk.
no self-restraint.
No self-restraint. Let's talk about our general thoughts. What'd you think, Ian?
I really like this book. There's only 2 things I don't like. One of them is fairly big, and we'll get into that.
We'll definitely get into that
And one of them is fairly small, and in true me fashion, it's just me complaining about the words Brennan uses to describe things, which we'll also get into. But I really had a lot of fun reading this book. It hits a lot of things I like. There's a little bit of nautical fantasy in there. Like, Dusk is an interesting character. Starling's new. We saw dragons. Hey, now we know why Brandon was blabbing about dragons.
This is 100%. Yes, 100%.
At our interview. It's like, oh yeah,
Hey,
because you wrote about dragons. Zeisis Raphael, Illustandrista, like, dragon names are cool.
It's a smaller thing. You're still mad about them calling the cognitive realm Shadesmart. You're like, it's still furious. No.
No, it's not.
Yeah, Jess isn't on the show, but I'm sure that's on her list. Don't worry. Evgeni, what'd you think?
I really liked this book. I think it was great. This might be a recency bias at the moment. I feel like this is my favorite secret project.
Ooh, interesting.
I recognize I have some biases.
Yeah.
Understandable.
I mean, I think this is really good. This is a very, like, it's the right mixture of like space and fantasy for me, where there is just enough of computers and FTL and like the sci-fi-ish machinery, but we're not really like, yes, there are sci-fi rifles, but we barely interact with them. Yes, there's a big old laser, but it's there for just, so like, we interact with these things, but they're not the heart and the core of the story. The heart and the core are, in many ways, the magic and the characters, which has kind of always been the case for Brandon books, regardless of setting. And I find that this works really well for me. I like an optimist for a protagonist.
I see you like Starling on the overlay here. Like I feel
yeah, we're doing a like a little high five. We're holding hands.
Yeah. Love that.
Chris is gonna be so jealous.
I have 2 hands.
Great. David, what'd you think?
Well, I thought that this book continued the decline that began in Wind and Truth for Brandon's books. No.
The angry comments are typing immediately.
The decline began in The Lost Metal. No.
Well, I mean,
I enjoyed this book. I enjoyed this book quite a bit. And I think that there's a lot less pressure on these secret projects because they're not wrapping up like a multi-decade investment on my part of the series, and you don't read these books and have all these like preconceived notions about what's going to happen. And like, that's a thing that, comes up with any of his longer series. So I think that's why sometimes the secret projects, can really just feel great, when I read them, because I'm just like, oh my God, like it's a new story and it's a new cast of characters and we don't have all this baggage. Like we're just going for something fun. And I think that it's really successful in that way. The Cosmere in Brandon's mind, especially Mistborn, has always been like this timeline progression, from like fantasy to sci-fi. And I think that I'm not the only one who, as we move down that progression, you're kind of like, okay, like what is this going to be like? Will I still like this when we get to where he's heading, which is this kind of overall sci-fi setting? And I think that this book reinforced my confidence that I am going to be really excited when we eventually get to this era of the books. And I can see why, like, clearly he is barely able to prevent himself from writing like sci-fi, like writing the sci-fi setting, because he's like, I'm gonna put one out and I'm gonna try to write around any big spoilers for my other series.
Miraculous how well he did with that here, to be honest.
I mean, arguably, he could not hold himself back from writing that, as evident by this book.
Yeah. So I see why he's so excited, and it makes me really excited. I enjoyed the characters. I enjoyed Starling. I thought that the taste of Dusk that we got in Six of the Dusk, even as an enjoyer, which I liked well enough, I thought he was even more interesting than I kind of expected him to be based on what we had seen in that short story. I thought that sometimes I get nervous when Brandon gets into colonialism themes, and I thought that was handled pretty well, and all in all, I'm excited and I'm hopeful. It's one of those things where I'm excited to see this universe. I'm excited to see these characters. I'm excited to see people knocking around this setting that he has put together. That is this kind of sci-fi universe with all these planets that we've come to know coming together. So 2 thumbs up.
The standalone, like the secret projects, have really reminded me of, one, the reason I love Brandon's books, but also two, the reason I love the Cosmere, right? When you are, not that I dislike Mistborn or I dislike Stormlight. I love both of these series, but when you are spending 2, 3, 4, 5,000 pages on the same world, even if there are like little blips of the Cosmere here and there, and you have your Hoyts and your Felts and stuff like that, it's still a planet in the Cosmere. Whereas something like this, something like Yumi, something like Tret, like it is fun to, like, Brandon has always been, he doesn't like to talk about himself as like the world building guy or the magic system guy, but like his worlds and his magics are a staple of his craft. Just the variety and to an extent the complexity of these things. And so being able to just go on a new world, or between worlds, as it were, is just exciting. It's a new setting, new characters, new properties, new attributes, new magic. It's just fresh and fun. And it's just one book, maybe. And then we move on and do something else.
Yeah,
maybe.
Like it really brings back that sense of wonder you get exploring a new world. Because like, I love Roshar.
Yeah.
The experience of reading Wind and Truth is very different from reading Way of Kings for the first time.
Yeah. Yes.
Because like I'm much more familiar with the world. It's like were there unexpected things? Absolutely. But I had a frame of reference to fit things in. I wasn't discovering things wholesale.
Yeah. Brandon's just so good at writing first books, because like he wrote 12 of them before getting published. Like I think he wrote maybe one sequel after White Sand Prime, like the very first one, which was just, it continued. I don't know if that counts. But like, he's very good at just doing, I'm going to do a new interesting thing, right? And I think all the secret projects, you can just really tell that that's fun. Whereas, Wind of Truth is harder in that way. And so I'm excited for book 6 to get more of that exploration, right? That's going to be fun. Bonnie, sorry, we kind of got on a little tangent there.
No problem.
What?
So
No.
Never. So this book isn't what I expected going in at first. That being said, I read it from cover to cover, just straight through. Couldn't stop. Tried a few times, failed.
Yeah, you read it really fast, didn't you? You read it really fast.
We,
this more I was
dear
determined
listeners,
to get to it.
we also tried to get Bonnie to stop and maybe go to bed at 3 o'clock.
Oh,
and
no,
we
that's
also
right. That's
failed.
what it was. Because, you literally stayed at, yes, that's right. I remember now.
I may have said I was going to stop a few times and then just kept reading.
There you go.
So let me clarify first. I loved this book. It wasn't what I expected going in, though. When I started reading this, or before it even came out, what I was expecting was really a lot more travel. I thought there was going to be a lot more seeing things in the Cosmere, a lot of things that we hadn't seen yet. And it didn't really do that. So it took a little bit of kind of processing the book and letting it exist as its own book and not what I expected at first. But the more I've sat on it, the more I like it. And I kind of saw it flipping up the list of favorite books. And now this one is around the same as Trust, which is my favorite.
Whoa. Okay.
I don't know.
I
I
praise.
was hard pressed to pick which one I like the best. And they're very different books.
Super
So it's
different.
almost like saying, which genre you like the best. It's almost not comparable.
Yeah.
This one, I really like how something about the pacing lends itself to nostalgia as well. There's kind of a
that's
nostalgic
interesting,
feeling
actually.
afterwards. And I almost want to say that's the pacing talking, and how the memories are interspersed, and how we spend a lot of time on, individual events instead of jumping really fast through the book and through events. But something about it really lends itself to kind of a nostalgic feeling.
Yeah, maybe it should have been Isle of the Emberdark. I've seen that. But
Yes.
yeah.
Well, the two Isles of the
I literally
Yeah,
was gonna have a whole rant, but then like the epilogue did it. We connected the title, so I don't have a big complaint. But
I think it's fine.
it is fine. It's just
It's
funny how the islands, they're not even in the Emberdark.
Yeah, like the title is very much prophetic of like
Yes.
the Isles of the Emberdark are now open for exploration.
Exactly.
It's a Shadows of
Exactly.
Stealth thing.
Yeah. Right. Well,
Yeah, I guess. I think you could still debate what that title means.
who knows what's
like,
going on with that title? That title's
Yeah.
a weird title.
What I mean, yeah, I agree. What I mean is the title of this book is not as clear cut as like Oathbringer or
Sure,
the Bands of
right.
Mourning.
A Band
Yeah.
of Mourning. Yeah, you're
That's
like,
what it's
is this
about,
book
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's extend the title even more. Now we can explore.
The Isles of the Emberdark.
So I guess
they
it's
can't.
more- it's the most like the Lost Meadow in that regard.
Oh, we don't need to get there. I will say, for my thoughts, I really like this book. I did think on my first read that I also expected more travel, and I did not expect like kind of the main plot of the book. They're on one island and dealing with the Dakwara. And so on a reread, I really liked it a lot more because I had my expectations set appropriately. This is, as the author's note says, this is a really weirdly paced book. And so it's nice for Brandon to write something very different, because book one, we have like basically very extensive Dusk introduction, right? We'll talk about it. I know, Ian. And then like part two is basically Starling's intro, right? And then book three is now we're kind of getting to the plot of the book almost. Like there's definitely through lines, obviously. But it's bizarre. And I kind of like it. I like your point about like the nostalgia feel. I kind of think Starling Part 2 is still the best part of the book. I still kind of think
really
that.
good.
But
Yeah.
I'm well known on this show for being a Six of the Dusk hater. I blocked it from my memory, but I really like.
I'm glad
Dusk.
you can admit to being wrong about that story.
Well, see, I
Well.
like it because it has been expanded with a great flashback sequence. Spiritual damage right to you. I really like it. And Dusk's character really worked for me. Like, I think there's something about like him being so quiet, but he had like a lot of people to play against. I really liked him playing against Deja, whatever you say. Just being awful. But Dusk saying, oh, well, he didn't have a question, so I'm not going to clarify. I'm like, okay, Dusk, this is really good.
Dusk also has a little bit of a sass.
Yes.
Because sometimes
Dusk
sometimes
so
he goes,
Yeah.
oh, that was not a question. Therefore I don't need to answer. But sometimes he does answer when it's not a question. And so he's definitely sassing people sometimes, and I love that for him.
You can feel the difference between flashback Dusk and like Dusk that has interacted with Vathi and has been
Yes.
kind of in society like a little more. Like you can feel that character growth that's happened kind of between the stories almost.
And it doesn't feel inconsistent. Like it felt very natural. Like I really like his overall character arc of he doesn't want change to happen. He kind of brought it. He kind of did do that. But now he doesn't have a purpose, and then he finds purpose. Like I really like that. I think that's nice. It's really Dusk's story. Love Starling. Oh my God. Love her a lot. When we're going to talk about that. But a lot of tunnel, but on a reread, less tunnel than I expected. Like it's paced pretty fast, but it is paced very weirdly in a way, you know? Hard to compare with others.
Yeah, it's like there's 3 trips into the tunnel, and that feels right.
Yeah. Like if you like actually look through it, I'm like, oh, okay. But once we're like doing this for a while, I'm like, oh, we're not getting to any other places. Like, okay, right. You have to realize that, right? But I mean, they're trying to find the perpendicularity. That's fine, right? That makes sense.
And I think that's fair too. If you spend the whole book waiting to get somewhere and you never get there, that can be very frustrating.
Yeah, right, exactly. Some of you guys have the physical book, and I think we have to, before we really dig into it, talk about how pretty the book is, because there's some very cool physical book design that we have to do this.
Yes. So various members of Dragonsteel, the Last Nexus, just would not stop being all smug about how cool this book is.
Okay.
They revealed nothing, but they kept throwing, cryptic smiles and glances and stuff. And so I was like, oh, what are they doing? By now, you will all have seen the actual
we love the black sprayed edges. We love that. Always cool.
It does. Like this thing looks great. I love
fantastic.
And I also love like gold on black or red on black, like these kinds of color themes.
Odium themes. But it's
Argent loves the odium themes. We all know that.
But this book does a bunch of like really, really neat things that I'm a huge fan of. And I'll start with the smaller ones. First of all, chapter headings, much like many of the other secret projects, are not all unique, but there are many unique ones.
That's a good dragon. I like that.
So we are looking at like some kind of figures of flora and fauna. So there's like a dragon, and there is Kakuban's fingers and Kalo fruit and things like that. The sections all have AVR on them, and it's really nice to see the birds in all of their beautiful glory.
Love the end page that you're showing off as well. Looks great.
Yeah. There's this thing.
Looks real. That's good.
I've not got the physical book myself. Are the chapter headers predominantly Pachi, flora, and fauna, or are there more things like the dragons where you see some other?
They are predominantly Pagi stuff. Okay. I think there's a dragon head and a dragon talon. There's a Dakwara. Maybe there's like one or two more. There's like some AVR are in there, but it's mostly the beasties.
Gotcha.
What is the thing that is of perhaps the most note is so we saw the start of book 1, and here is the end of book 1. Once again, we have an AVR with beautiful full color illustrations. First official look of Shadesmar, really. Here's how book 2 starts.
And the symbol of Dromanod / First of the Sun, depending on how you call it.
Yeah.
And here is
that looks
how part
so
2
good.
looks like.
So pretty.
Oh my god.
Now that book 2, that we have entered Shadesmar, we've entered the Emberdark, we've entered the place where many things are inverted. The book also inverts, and it's now silvery text on a black background. And this is really difficult to convey like on a 1080p video feed.
That is being cropped on a screen recording on another 1080p video. Yeah.
There are multiple things working against us here, but like the chapter headings, they're not like pure white. They're kind of silvery, and they have a little bit of a texture to them. Silvery really is the best way to describe them, I think. They look really nice. And we spend, the rest of the book on these black pages because we are in the place where there's no light.
Until like the epilogue?
The epilogue we return back to normal pages.
Oh. I thought it might have flipped from part to part. That's cool. So it really is just like the out of Shadesmar.
It's a Shadesmar thing,
yeah. It's a Shadesmar book. Like they really did a good job with that.
Yeah.
Yes.
As soon as people were showing pictures of them, like, of that, I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, you got to read this physically. That's awesome.
It is really dope. Just like with any other secret project, the book came with a sticker, and once again, the gold on black, I think, looks really well.
Looks good.
Really good. It came with a pin. This is a little Dusk.
Oh, okay, that's pretty cute. That's pretty good.
I see. The Cosmere character pins have been rebranded to Dragonsteel character pins.
Sure. I mean, that makes sense, right?
It does.
Now they're inconsistent. Man.
Oh no.
We'll do a V2 of the Cosmere ones, and they will say Dragonsteel, and we'll have to buy them again.
Oh man!
And then
so many pins.
As always, there is a bookmark.
The epic bookmark.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the full color ones that's in part 1 with that's showing off Vathy and Dusk.
This is Dusk and Vathy, just under the Dusk's safe house.
Love that. That's a very cool design. Like going into Shadesmar and inverting. That's pretty sick, actually.
It's really clever, and it looks really good. Like they really pulled it off.
There's some beautiful art in here with that too. With I wanted to make sure to highlight this piece here. I don't know how well you can see it.
Oh yeah. With the entity and Starling's manifestation, basically. Yeah.
Yes, and the camera does not do this justice. It's very shiny.
It's all shiny. Okay, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Well, make sure you buy the Dragonsteel edition of the book, because it seems like that's a pretty good deal if you can afford it.
Highly recommend.
Seems like a good.
Yeah, it feels like they keep upping their game the more they do.
I think Brandon's totally right that like a good midway between like $30 hardback and $100-$200 leather bound. There's room to have cool things that make it feel like a good product, and like I think this is awesome.
I wish Brandon would have like Dragonsteel editions of all of his, or at least of his standalones. So like
coming in 2029, Dragonsteel editions of.
We're gonna re-release all the Mistborn books again.
Because
editorial busy with something. Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot of character to them.
It's creative more than editorial, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. I think top on our list of discussion points is also the first in the book. We got to talk about Six of the Dusk and the flashback sequence. So if you are not aware, this is what we originally called Six of the Dusk 2, but Six of the Dusk is just in here as a set of flashbacks. They are slightly changed. It's not exactly the same. I would reread them, even though Brandon's like, you don't have to reread them. I do think there is value. What they do is they kind of weave the flashbacks back and forth with the modern storyline. Like they're kind of referring to things. So like Brandon's very much doing that intentionally, right? But that's what's happening. And so we'll give the floor to Ian because he obviously wants to talk. Yes.
I think this was a bad decision. So, full disclosure, I liked Six of the Dusk when I read it in Shadows Beneath, the Writing Excuses anthology. I remember listening to the episodes where Brandon like world built the story.
When Writing Excuses. Yeah.
Yes.
If you don't know, listeners, by the way, Writing Excuses is a podcast that used to be kind of a writing/author podcast between Brandon and a few of his writer friends. He's not an active participant there anymore. The podcast is fully run by his friends at this stage. But back when he was involved, they did like a little exercise episode thing where each one of them came up with an idea for a story. They workshopped it a little bit during their respective episodes, and then they came together into this Shadows Beneath anthology. Which, I don't know, you could probably still buy it. I think all the stories are worth reading.
Yes, they are all worth reading. Mary Robinette's is the best.
It is the best. Yes.
It is better than Six of the Dusk. But the interesting thing, because obviously this was a writing exercise. character art for 6th.
Oh yeah, I think that's in Arcanum Unbounded as well. They reused that, right?
Yep.
That art
No,
piece.
it's different art in
Oh really?
Arcanum Unbounded.
Those were all Isaac,
Oh.
Isaac style drawings, I believe, or is it Ben? Is it Ben? I sometimes mess that up, but like everything in Arcanum Unbounded was drawn by the same artist, and they're all consistent, kind of.
Arcanum Unbounded is Ben.
Okay, Ben. Yep.
Yeah. And that was Kikai Kotaki. But if you actually look, like, you can see like the first draft compared to the final draft. So like if you're interested in the craft of writing, track changes is on. Like it's definitely worth exploring. So like I liked Six of the Dusk as a story originally. I have had arguments with it with Eric on this podcast, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
We've don't care that. Yeah, like I don't care that like he made changes for the sake of this story. Like they're relatively minor. It's whatever.
Yeah.
What I don't like is it being chopped up into flashbacks. Because literally every time we switched timelines, I was mad. Because like I liked the flashback sequence, and I liked the modern day stuff. And whenever you made me switch, I was annoyed. I don't think it was necessary. I think you could have just included Six of the Dusk as part 1 or like a prologue part and then like go into modern day stuff. I don't think because here's the thing. Six of the Dusk was not written to be broken up into flashbacks. It was written to read straight through. So you are imposing breaks into a story that was not meant for this. Like I have a lot of feelings about this. This reminds me of like the difference between a TV series like designed and like produced and written for broadcast TV versus for streaming. Because broadcast TV, the commercial breaks are built in. It's part of how like the structure of the episodes work. Whereas streaming, they can be a little bit more freeform. There are hard breaks like there are for commercial breaks. So it's basically like you're taking something that was built for streaming and putting it on broadcast television with commercial breaks. And it's like, it wasn't meant for that. Yeah. So once it gets to part 2 and all of this is done, I love the book. It's also like frustrating because like Brandon has done good flashback sequences in Stormlight. And it's like
Oathbringer in particular.
Yes. So it's like this is no good, Brandon. The rest of the book, great. Part 1 is just the two halves of part 1 are good. It's just when you intersperse them, it's a bad choice.
So I have some thoughts on this because I kind of think this contributes to the feeling of nostalgia for the book. Because when you think through memories, right, and you're thinking back to a specific memory, memories aren't made with commercial breaks involved. Like there's no necessary beginning and end to the memory. So when you're reading through Six's story and he's kind of during the future, or should I say modern times of the story, he's thinking back to his memories, to the past, to how things were before modern times. And so it's less of a flashback for the audience. It's almost a little bit of the internal view of him thinking back to those times when Pachi was very different.
I felt that Brandon's nods to it being dusk flashing back were super clunky and not good.
Here's my theory, which is I think that how you feel about this directly correlates to how much you like the original story. And if you like the original story, you're like, why did he do this to the original story? And if you didn't care for the original story, you're like, who cares? And like that's kind of the fundamental breakdown that's occurring. I tend to, at the end of the day, fall maybe just slightly more on Ian's side, in that I don't know that breaking it up was necessarily like, I don't know. It just wasn't like, I would have rather have just been in one time period rather than flashing back and forth, you know? And but I think my complaint is, honestly, I don't like Brandon Lucasing himself. And so I have more complaints with the fact that he is changing individual details in the story, where I'm just like, okay, well, all his magic stuff, he finds limitations more interesting than powers. And in this, he's got some limitations. He's got some cool things he's laid out that he's going to have to kind of work between. And instead, we're just going, okay, we're gonna throw out the feather. We're gonna go with the medallion and Kakoban. We're gonna lay that groundwork out. And in some ways, I think that it probably makes for a stronger ultimate like package of the story. But I'm not interested in seeing Brandon continually revise things that he's done before. I think it damages some of the value of Arcanum Unbounded, just as like a thing to send people to in terms of short stories. Because I'm like, well, you're gonna get. Hopefully, I don't know if this is going to happen or not. Hopefully, the version of in future prints of Arcanum Unbounded will contain the accurate, like up-to-date version of the flashback story that no longer has dated references to things that no longer appear in the actual story. But I don't really know if that's happening or not.
Stay tuned for Arcanum Unbounded Leatherbound. I don't know. It better have the updated text. You're right.
We're gonna have a preview of the prologue of the White Sand graphic novel printed in a leatherbound, right? Okay. Curious. But yeah, like I like the short story. I don't know, but I recognize at the end of the day that structurally it was always going to be awkward because he's got the Starling prologue, which I think is really strong. I think it's a great hook. And it's already a little awkward that you go into part 1 and you don't get any Starling at all, right? Until part 2.
That's right.
Nope. And so I don't know that it would have been lengthy. It obviously wouldn't have been length any longer. But if we had gotten Starling Dragon, Planet Dusk, Time Jump, Planet like Dusk present day, then part 2 Starling, you'd be like, oh my God, like that is really like a long time since we've been back to her. So there's not an easy answer here. Like I think he was picking between two kind of challenging options. So that's where I'm at.
It's just interesting. Like in the preface, I think Brendan's like, oh yeah, like all the people who haven't read Six of the Dusk think this is great. If you have read Six of Dusk, maybe just skip those parts. And I just feel like that's not a good option. Like
I agree.
Like Brendan, like so you're recommending people skipping parts of the book.
I mean, obviously there's more nuance to this, right? It's the idea that you have read the story, you know the substance of it. Yes, you are not going to know the changes. You're not going to know about Kakoban and his fingers and his medallions. But you know, Dusk and Paggy and Vathy and Nightmoss and their trek across the Isle and the ones above. So like, I disagree with the recommendation. I do think that unless you've read Six of the Dusk like in the past month or whatever, it's like 30 pages. Just read it again.
I do agree with that. So yeah, you should just read it again.
Yeah, I agree. But there's also like the element of like, if you're recommending people just to skip it, just put it in one section. And then like they skip it once and they don't have to constantly be flipping forward through their book whenever they hit a new flashback chapter. It's like, I don't like it. I don't like it.
I know Jess thought very similar to you, Ian. And I said the exact same thing that David just said to Jess about like, it would just be a long time to have like 2 parts before Starling. Like there's something about like, okay, one part of Dusk, it's called Dusk, and then see part 2 Starling. Okay, I get it, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to have the hot take. The flashbacks are really good, actually. I think they're excellent.
I agree. The flashbacks is no. Thing
the fact that they are flashbacks makes both these storylines better. Boom. The pacing of the modern storyline requires more exploration and stuff that we get with the flashbacks. And so I was way more interested in both the stories for having both of them. I don't love Six of the Dusk, like just by itself. I think having this greater context to the world and knowing like how it's changing, I thought that was really interesting. And so I think that enhanced the experience of rereading Six of the Dusk. And also pacing for the modern thing it does need something more. Like you can't just move the Six of the Dusk to the beginning and only have the modern storyline. Like you have to change it pretty dramatically, I think. You can't have chapter 1 being, hey, Dusk is telling a story, and then chapter 3, oh, Dusk is hearing someone else tell a story. You can't just go directly between those. You need something else to happen there, right? Like Brandon would need to totally change it, the entire thing.
Those were written with the flashbacks in mind.
Exactly.
Even though the flashbacks weren't written with the present day story in mind, they were. The inverse is true. I believe that.
And I do think in like it. Yes, there is a universe where like you can write the modern storyline to like be good. I'm just saying the way this is written, I think.
I like how you said write the modern day sequence to be good. Just bar none.
Well, good on its own.
You.
Solely on its own.
What you meant, but it was just funny.
Yeah. Well, I'm good at talking, guys. I'm terrible at talking. I don't know. I felt the pacing was good. I really liked this scene breaks actually in the flashbacks. I thought they went really well. I am a sucker for dramatic scene breaks, and I felt they were very appropriate at every time. Like they ended on nice dramatic scene break things, and so that felt really good to me. And I thought them being weaved between with the modern storyline, I think that worked really good. And I liked that a lot. And patchy stuff is cool. So I don't know. I'm a flashback enjoyer. And this book kind of made me like, oh, Six of the Dusk is fun. But like I needed more. Like it alone does not do it for me, but this works really well for me. Like just having the story does it's fine. I don't think it's that special.
There were people who bounced off that story like you, Eric. Like I don't think that's an uncommon opinion where there are people who were just like Six of the Dusk. Like I feel like Alex is a similar way where it just did not click, on the original read through. So if you can enhance the material, for some folks,
I think it's also that like I get more of Dusk's character, and like I think that gives greater context to that and makes me enjoy and like understand him better. Whereas like I don't get as much as I would want just in the novella. So I don't know. I'm a flashback apologist. It's good, actually. And, I do think that it's probably a thing where if you read the novella, okay, but I do think more people are probably just going to buy this book. Let's be honest. And so, okay, it's better this way.
I think my first read of the novella was actually right after I discovered the Cosmere was a thing. And so it kind of got buried in the hype of everything else of like, oh my gosh, it's all connected.
Sure, right. This does have a bit more overt connections, especially when you read the whole book.
Yes.
Whereas certainly in 2012, long time ago, whenever Shadows Beneath came out, let's just say the patchy stuff is a lot more esoteric.
2014.
2014, okay.
Only just over a decade.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My senior year of high school, no biggie. Yeah.
Yeah. So we only had to wait 3 years before the episode where Ben went to Brandon and Brandon's like, Pesci's a shard of Aiden Elsium. I'll put that as a card so you can listen to me and Ben freak out. Like, what are you talking about, Brandon? Like, this is crazy.
That was a time.
That was the time.
Line.
Other flashback thoughts?
I liked so overall, I agree with Ian, but like my emotions are extremely mid in that. Yeah, I think it would have been nice if it was all in one chunk, but like, how much do I care about this? Not really. One thing that I do like about the flashbacks, and I couldn't care less about like the medallion and the renaming of the fingers and whatever. I like the introduction of wayfinding. And navigating as, hey, that's a thing that is a cultural thing for not only for the Ilakin, but also for like Dusk specifically. I think that's an important addition. And that's like fully a new page of text or something like that.
And like it feels very Polynesian inspired, which like I think that makes it stronger. Like I liked that a lot.
Probably the most important addition to the text. You don't need to know Kakaban exists. Like that's fine. Like who cares? But like the wayfinding stuff and him putting his hand in the water, like that's I like that.
Yeah. Brandon finally fixed the text and added the worms in the pool, in the fruits of the pool.
Oh, because was that not there originally?
There were
He
no
just
worms.
says it. He's like, there's
Yeah,
worms
they're
in
like-
the fruit, you know?
Well, okay, that might be a good addition, I would say.
I feel like it was like a bigger part of the brainstorming when they did it, was he was kind of brainstorming like the food, like how that would work. And then he wrote the story, and that just didn't really come across in the text, you know, like
Yeah.
it was kind of became a little bit more of an aside from
Sure.
Brandon starting with a magic system idea, you know, and then working his way backwards into a story.
Yeah.
I believe he started with magic birds and then figured it out from there.
Guys, Brandon really likes birds. Like, if you remember, his bird on the stream, right? He really likes birds.
Jello.
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 I
We
literally
haven't
could
seen his
not
stream in a
remember the
while,
name.
but yeah.
Well, he doesn't like being moved around.
Yeah.
Some of the text of this book very much read like it is written by someone who owns a parrot. Like,
Brandon
Yeah.
knows this very well, actually. Yeah.
yeah.
He did not need to get a special reader for bird ownership.
He does not need a beta reader bird expert who's like, no, this is written for me because I like birds. So, like, I respect that. The passion is clear. I don't know if I care that much about the birds. Like, they're fine. I'm just like, okay. They're fine.
I don't know how smart parrots are now, because I'm just like, they're, these are invested creatures, but also like it's coming from an experience. I'm just like, how intelligent are these guys?
Birds can be really smart, actually. So, that's certainly true. But, invested birds do give us, they have a bigger cognitive aspect here. So who's to say?
Now, full disclosure, I am hamming this up a little bit. Like, do I genuinely feel as impassioned as I'm portraying myself to be? No. Do I still dislike it? Yes. But, like, it's whatever. The rest of the book is great, and that's what I care about. Like,
Yep.
You guys should see Ian's beta comments on the flashbacks. He loved them so much, the way they were chopped up. And now
didn't have beta comments
he didn't
on
have
the
beta
flashbacks
comments.
because I wasn't a beta for this book.
That was a
If I
whole.
was a beta for this book, I would have
we had the
absolutely
thing.
said this was a bad idea.
No.
The thing happened. I remember
Yeah.
that.
I was a
Anyway,
beta.
he's rage baiting is what's happening here.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can all agree that the book really gets into high gear when we get into Shadesmar and we meet Starling. Amazing.
Starling, darling.
And we get to have Cosmere Firefly. We got a ramshackle ship, a ramshackle crew of misfits, and they're going across the Cosmere. And is this exactly my jam? And could I read 10 more books of this? Yes, I 100% could.
100%.
100%. Like, this is a
Absolutely.
TV show, like, that I would just watch all the time. Like, sounds amazing.
I have seen some people describe that as Guardians of the Galaxy more so than Firefly. I wonder if those people skew younger than the
That
Firefly
might be the
people.
case.
Oh, yeah.
That may be the case.
But it's
yes.
you can a crew of misfits in a janky spaceship, shenanigans ensue. Right, that formula.
It's a classic
classic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
trope. Like, it's good.
It is very
like it.
tropey. Like the crew, like we have all the roles here, but we got Starling, we got the dragon who she can't transform, but she's an optimist. She really is stressed about things. Like, you can tell, like, she is younger. Like, she's not as emotionally mature in a way.
I didn't get a lot of stress from her. Like, she sweats it up when she meets Xysis,
There's
which
several moments where she's in like
Understandable.
high pressure things where it's described as she's sweating and it's just like kind of putting on like a mask of like optimism and things. And like, she
well,
can't let
in
her
the
crew
moment-
know that she's
That's
like,
exactly it.
yeah.
Like, when she comes to them at the end and she's like, I don't know what we're going to do. And they're like, oh, I guess we all got to start thinking now. Like, I guess we'll help
Starling's
you.
worried. Oh no. Yeah, that was fun.
Like that, like, Dusk definitely has the arc of the book, but that was, if Starling has an arc, that's it. Is that she's, kind of an optimist who kind of needs to like appear that she always has things on top of stuff, and she kind of learns to let that go a little bit as she's going through the book.
And like that gets a little bit into like her being a dragon and like the cultural status that rings of like, oh yeah, like the dragons are the oldest and wisest race species in the Cosmere. It's like they obviously know what to do in every situation.
And not only do they know, but as a species, like their cultural like role is to give comfort and like reinforce positive emotion and take away fears and stuff like that.
True. Yeah.
So all of that adds up. And so she's trying to play that role. And obviously she was Hoyd's apprentice.
Hell yeah.
He also has some like ways that he interacts with people. Like he does the whole, shows up out of nowhere, tells you a story that fixes your life and then leaves, right? Yeah. And so there's a lot of like expectation and weight on Starling for her to always know what to do and to be able to do that thing for like multiple reasons.
Get out of the crazy situation, and she's like, I don't know how to do this. Seems real bad, actually, guys. Like, no, I'm gonna lose all you guys.
Like the other option for like what her plot could be is like her refusal of like her bracers being broken.
Doesn't go with Deja.
It's like she like reinforces that like them being placed on her was a result of her choices. Them remaining on her is again a choice on her part. And
I love that.
It's definitely like,
I love that part.
As we've been saying, like this is Dusk's book. Like she's not at the end of her character arc. No. Or like Dusk isn't necessarily either. But like this is definitely like set up for her to be a character in the future of the Cosmere.
All Hoyd apprentices, I think, are going to show up again. Brandon would not do that if they were not. Like, I do think we will see them again.
And there's like too much like backstory of Starling is set up. Like, apparently she saved a whole bunch of people in the past that was involved with Naz's death. But like, that's why like the leaders of the dragons are like, no, you did a bad thing. Admit you did a bad thing. Oh, you won't do that. We're putting bracers on you. Like there's like too much there for us not to see her again.
I don't think that is as strongly implied as like I think you've brought up the saving people a couple of times now. I think that's possible based on what is in the book, but what is in the book is way less than that.
It's really vague. Like there's definitely Brandon holding back that we will get more things later. I think that's absolutely true.
I feel like
also whatever happened to her parents.
That
there, and I don't remember the exact text, but like there's an implication that her exile is the result of her. I mean, it's straight up said that it's because she's not accepting her role as a dragon deity, and it's because she sees people as people and not as followers. It doesn't go much further than that.
Like there is a connection to her saving people.
I recall that as well, Ian. I don't
like
know
there's
that
a direct link.
That I think that it necessarily will be a big part of her future. Like I think we could see her next time and she could have the bracers off. And it would just be like, oh, she's on to something else. I don't think that we necessarily need to be there for that moment in the same way that Brandon's like, we may never see. I don't know if we ever said like how like what is our mega spoilers? Is this all Cosmere spoilers?
This is
like,
all Cosmere spoilers. We're all over the place. Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to make sure I said that before I kept going, which is like, I don't know that we'll see that like Siggs will kill Auxiliary, like that's a huge moment in his character, but I just don't know that. Like I feel like I got everything I needed out of the bracers and I don't need to see her figure that out specifically. We know there are ways around it and she's kind of conquered that character moment,
I want to jump in there because you mentioned about not seeing her get the bracers off on screen or in book, but I think this is actually a really great build up to an eventual book where she does. it's kind of like you don't get to see it this time. Maybe we don't get to see it again. When it finally happens, it'll be all the more satisfying for the fact that it hasn't happened yet.
Or like she earns the respect of dragons and they take it off or something like that. Like there's definitely a lot of ways that can go.
I think for me, how much I care about seeing the manacles come off depends on how they come off, right? If she just finds another intensifier and blows them up, that's uninteresting. I don't need to see a book. If 50 years from now, like her exile expires or whatever, right? Or if she goes to the Elder Dragons and is like, yep, you guys were right, I was wrong, and then the manacles come off, that's also kind of uninteresting. I mean, it would be surprising to me because that doesn't fit with her character, but I don't need to see that in a book. What I would want to see in a book is her like convincing the elders to take them off, or changing their minds or something like that.
I did find the line.
Okay,
yeah,
cool.
you looked like you found it.
I could be free already, Starling reminded herself. All I need to do is accept the judgment of the dragons, accept that she'd done wrong by saving the people she had years ago.
Okay. Cool.
Fair.
Great. Excellent.
I definitely got the sense that the scene with the entity where they save those people is very reminiscent of something that has happened in the past with her. Like she's kind of just continuing to do the thing that she does.
True.
That
Just put her
reminds me
life at
of-
risk.
That reminds me a little bit of the Prime Directive in Star Trek. Actually, that kind of phrasing is where it's like, as the dragon, maybe you're supposed to take the priors and such, but not actually intervene, which Frost brings up all the time. Whereas in this case, maybe Starling intervened where she was told she wasn't supposed to.
And there are mentions in this book about how the dragons supposedly have retreated from the Cosmere's stage. Except they haven't dragons. Really. Yeah, except for the ones that, don't care. Like Xysis, for example, is obviously continuously meddling with things. So that's possible. It's not my read, but it's possible.
One of the things I really liked about it, though, was that I feel like her leadership thing is almost like, I love the generational struggle of the dragons. You know what I mean? Like that's such a fun little kind of dynamic where we've got these elder dragons who are like, we are gods, and there's some variation in that where Frost, if he's still alive, seems like very much like more of a servant type person versus people like Xysis who are more kind of like the lords, and we're seeing Starling fill like a very similar role where she wants, like she's kind of like almost like the little god of the crew, she's like, I have to be perfect and I can't let them down.
Yeah.
And I have to make sure everything works out okay. And so she's still kind of struggling with the same conflicts that the dragons are, but she's doing it in a more modern way. She's doing it in a more approachable way. And that's kind of those are the sort of things that I love about Brandon, where he's like, oh yeah, we're doing dragon generational drama, and like, that's a fun,
I like that.
a fun thing to be playing
And,
around with.
The reveal that like Starling is 87. She's not even fully an adult.
Yeah.
I think she's meant to be like 16 by dragon standards or something.
Probably.
Like that.
Frost is over 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Also, apparently, lifetime expectancy of dragons is like 20,000 years.
Yeah.
It's like the age dynamics of this species are crazy.
Yeah. How much can a 10,000-year-old dragon be like, I'm so sick of this 50-year-old dragon's crap. Like, oh my God, I can't even with you.
I mean, like there's multiple, like when she's negotiating with Dager and he's like, oh, you work for me for 20 years or 30 years or whatever. That's nothing.
Yeah.
To a dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, yes, that is so long. Or the idea that, if she like fell into the Emberdark or fell unconscious or whatever, her manacles would protect her and then her people would fetch her in like a century or whatever.
It's really fun. I love all the dragon stuff. I love having the high fantasy, like the legit high fantasy dragons being a role. And I love how it interplayed with the technology of the space age. I thought that was a really fun interplay with Dager being like, the era of gods is over. I'm like, well, I mean, not really, because like you still don't want all the shards to go interact. Like they're chilling somewhere. So we have like those gods, but we also have these draconic, very, very powerful figures that Brandon's being pretty coy with, because dragons have defenses that aren't flame breath, but are very impressive. I'm like, oh, okay, I am interested, Brandon. But it's just such a cool interplay that, like, oh yeah, thousands of years ago, they built these grand things, but then they like receded. And now the mortals are getting like very formidable, right? Like the dragons aren't going to be able to go and be like, oh, Scadrians, don't do that. Like that will not work. Sorry, you missed your chance. It's fun. I really like that. And Starling's a lot of fun.
Yeah. Frost's niece.
Yes. What happened with Starling's parents?
Okay. Is that who is Hoyd talking to in Wind?
We don't know.
Is it? Okay.
No, it's Frost's sister, wasn't it?
Oh, does it say?
I think it does say that.
Because like in my mind, I've been like, is this Starling's mom? Is he talking to Starling's mom?
I think it is.
I
think it
good
is.
point.
I think that has to be Okay. All right.
It's
I
like
got it. I got it.
Oh, you found it already, too.
I just searched Frost. We
Speed.
got it.
Oh.
Okay, there you go.
Which admittedly
Easy
there is a
cheesy
lot of
cheese.
frosty stuff in Stormlight, but just searching Frost was good. I realized that I may have missed something that said, this is chapter 18 of Wind and Truth. So I sent a request to one of the best contract negotiators I know, Frost. He says some stuff.
What does he say, actually? Does he say that Frost is unavailable, or that he just...
He says he refused to help, as he insists he will not intervene, but his sister is as smart as he is, and she listened.
Okay. Yep.
I read her the contract. So I think that sister has to be Starling's mom, 100%.
And Frost has not disappeared as of Wind and Truth.
Yeah, that's good to know too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hard to know the timeline exactly. Who knows? But
It's going to be posted on the website imminently, Eric. They're about to post it.
they're not eminently posting it. I don't believe that in the slides.
It will be on the back of the medallions chart.
Yeah. It's like, I
There you go.
And it's the Nalthus essay.
Yes.
I do think Frost's disappearance has to be relatively recent.
It does.
Because it's after Starling gets the bracers and begins her apprenticeship with Hoyd.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, because Frost, exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
It's in the last.
No way he's dead. No way he's dead.
There's no
absolutely
way he's dead. Good luck actually killing a dragon, though. Like, it is technically possible, but like, good luck.
I mean, Nightblood, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Dragons
Where's
continually are getting investiture from the spiritual realm. Like, Nightblood could, I don't know. Like, I imagine it's not great for a dragon to be hit by Nightblood. I will admit.
No,
like, it's probably bad.
But Nightblood is safely in the hands of Seth. Where did Nightblood end up? Yeah, I think, right?
It's with
Yeah.
Seth.
Yeah.
With
Seth.
Seth.
Yeah, he will.
And
He will
Masha.
keep a close eye on that. Yeah, we're fine. No way Frost got killed by that.
Well, we'll see what happens in Stormlight back half. But anyway, so yeah, that has to be Starling's mom. I just think there's a lot of like things that are mysteries with Starling that I do think we need. Whereas like, I don't think I need to see the moment where Sigil like burns away Oggs, right? Like, I don't think I need that. Whereas like, this is more like very vague that like, I feel like it's more Brandon's being coy because there is more things there, right?
Yeah, it's like, and like, I don't think Brandon's going to write a book of those events. He's going to write a future book. Probably like the book where she gets bracers off. He's going to dig back into that.
Yeah, where we learn
maybe
more about
that
it.
could be a series of flashbacks.
Maybe she meets up with Zellion and that's how
I'll be honest, that would be really tight if it
I
was
would believe
Starling's crew and they meet up with Zellion and there's like some Night Brigade stuff. That could be really cool.
Oh,
Starling versus the Night Brigade.
And Naz is in there in the mix.
Okay, all right. Ooh, man, there's so many cool things we can
I
have
like
here, guys. There's
this.
so many cool stories.
Are we just gonna go into sequel stuff? Or
No,
do we wanna wait on
no,
that?
we're not.
Okay,
I'm excited,
I
though.
guess I'll.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I won't go too far then. But I like in my mind, like this book ends with them saying like our next goal is to get the manacles off. And when we see this crew again, I don't think we're gonna see them in their next chapter. We're gonna see them in some other situation that Brandon has jumped them in. There's gonna be a time jump. They're gonna do something, and I think they'll get the manacles off in the interim, and he's gonna be like, all right, time to do Starling dragon stuff. Like that's what I believe.
I think it's going to be hard to get the manacles off, and I think it might just like take them a really long time, and then we will see them. I don't know.
You're gonna find the intensifier too. They've got the technology's out there, Eric. We know.
Boo, that would suck. That would be bad.
It was such a thing in this book that she keeps them. I would feel disappointed if that just happened off screen.
I don't think
it was too much of a thing in this book for it just be hand waving.
That's why I think I don't want to see it, because it was such a thing that I'm like, oh yeah, she made the decision to keep them on, so I don't really care how she gets them off, because she could have taken the easy way out and she chose not to. And now I'm like, all right, like, you know, she'll do whatever she has to do. But
that's some MCU crap where it's like, ooh, what a big decision at the end of this movie, and then the next movie is like, yeah, we'll forget about it. Who cares?
No,
you know?
That's some Brandon Sanderson crap where he introduces that you're gonna hunt Sja in the end of Rhythm of War, and then
okay, David, that's a valid point. That's a valid point.
Yeah.
Get out of here.
So just a heads up.
Okay, that's a good point. I want to talk about my favorite sequence in the book, which is Starling rescuing the Iriali. Like, what a great sequence of chapters in this book. I do think it is my favorite part of the book. And maybe one of my Emberdark issues is part 2 Starling is so cool that I'm like, the rest of the book is not as cool, but I still really like the book, if that makes sense.
It's really funny to me how much Brandon loves flying characters and just having characters, you know, jump, and even though they cannot fly, they feel like like we see this with Starling, we see this with Sigil, with Nomad in Sunlit Man, we see this with Kaladin. It's just.
Hey, at least she doesn't have flight magic. She can't do that. She's got the manacles, and where she doesn't immediately get a Fabrial to do a simulate.
Yes.
Does turning into a dragon that can fly count as flight magic? That's the question.
Well, but she can't. She can't yet. See, it's different. It's slightly different. Okay. No, Brandon does really like the flight, but her dropping down, doing the dragon manifestation to get the entity, so great. What a big hero moment. Love her. She's great.
I did like also Naz's framing of that when they have the conversation afterwards, which is, oh yeah, okay, the crew now follows you because yes, you are damn near indestructible. You are not indestructible to that thing over there, and you jumped at it.
Yep. Yep. And the evil is spooky as hell. Love that.
I love the entities.
So good.
We'll get more into the entities later.
Yep.
Chef's kiss.
Love it.
And just imagine Threnody with like these skyscraper-sized creatures that are not walking. They are just like strobbing through the environment.
We'll get to the entities.
We'll get to it.
No.
We'll get to it. Do we want to talk about Starling's crew?
Yeah, let's talk about Starling's crew.
Sure.
We can do rapid fire.
We got Shade Naz. Boom. That's how I knew. It's like, oh, this is getting good. All right.
Rip Naz.
If you don't know things about the Cosmere, I don't know how much you care, but I think it's great. Like, I love this crap.
Yeah. Spoiler alert for Naz's death. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that he wrote the things on the maps. We all love Naz.
Yes, if you to not be glib about it.
Yes.
Many of Brandon's books have like in-world like journals and pages and maps and notes and things like that, that are like the interior illustrations, right? And a lot of the times, the reason we have those as readers is because Naz, or Nazarloff, who used to work for/with Chris, was being sent out on missions to like fetch stuff for her. And a lot of the times those things were maps, but you know, Shallan's journals and Navani's and Yasna's and stuff like that. He is the one
to drawing.
Yeah. He's the one who gets those. And a lot of the times you will see like little annotations on those where he's commenting on, like, either leaving notes for Chris or just commenting on the thing that he's fetching. And so that's this guy.
That's this guy.
Yeah. And like we see him with Chris in Secret History.
Yeah,
Kelsier meets them.
Yep.
Technically, Kaladin sees him running away at some point because he was trying to get the Bridgman glyphs.
Oh, that's funny. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the broadsheets. He's mentioned in
Sheets.
especially the Lost Metal broadsheet as well. He's
around.
I believe he's technically Isaac's character.
Yes.
So like he's intended to be, I believe he's intended to be in Book of Nails, Isaac's book.
I want to say yes.
There's no way he's not, but I don't know.
Yeah.
it would be surprising, but yeah.
Because like there's already the connection between him and Nikki Savage.
Yeah.
That.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
That makes sense.
And he's only one of 2 returning characters on this crew, which we'll talk about. But and Naz is the security officer, which I bet he is as a shade. That checks out.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Did they do the ritual with him to make him into a shade? Is that why
Unclear.
he's taking shade?
We will have a Threnody episode where there's things to talk about. There's so much.
Dibs. Brandon
absolutely.
Threnody. He keeps shoving Threnody stuff into other books that he's just like, I'll get to it, I promise. But here's some Threnody lore.
I'm pretty sure in 2019 when we made our sign-up sheet, the Threnity's been on there, and so now we have enough. We have more than enough for an episode, and you are on there. Don't worry, guys. I got it.
The proper rights.
Yep. We have Aditil, an engineer. She is from Datri. She was an Aetherbound, but her bud is broken, like a broken Aetherbound, so she's not a full one. So she
the bud died.
Yeah, the bud died. So Aetherbound we've really only seen in Lost Metal, and I mean we haven't seen Aetherbound in Tress, but the Aethers are very relevant in Tress. And then
I love her as a character.
She's a lot of fun. We didn't get a lot of her, but I love her so much. Like, sorry.
She is a cutie.
She's a cutie.
She's got great character building energy right there
Yes.
with the broken bud. Like there's so much potential energy just waiting for a fantastic arc.
And Hoyd thinks she has more to her powers than even she knows.
Yes.
I'm sure he does.
that. I couldn't tell, and I'm forgetting if I had an impression, but whether it seemed like something had happened to the Aether or whether something had happened to her.
Something happened to
Aether.
her.
Okay.
I feel like.
I
I don't know.
I
With
feel
the
like
Dark
if-
Aether and the Lost Metal, I was always just like, what's going on there? Like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think like the Zephyr Aether is dead. I think other Aether.
Okay.
There are other Aether bound to the Zephyr who are just fine.
Yeah. That has to be. the
In
case.
fact, the one that Danger Skypes or Zooms or whatever.
Was that a?
I thought it was a Zephyr one. Yeah.
I think it was Zephyr.
Yeah, I think it was. Zephyr's clearly too important to the space stuff to
Yes.
have that.
Yes.
Aether die.
Yeah. We'll do one of the 5 that he doesn't care about. That'll be one of the ones that does. Does that. Yeah.
Died off screen, just like Devotion and Dominion. Get out of here.
The meat one is dead.
Yeah.
She mirrors Starling
We're all
so
glad.
well, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She mirrors Starling so well, though, because she has this Aether that, she is dead. And meanwhile, we have Starling stuck in the manacles. Both of them have this ability that they can't use and that they're held back from.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm so excited to see that.
And neither of them can go home. Or nominally speaking, can't go home.
I like Starling buying that ticket at the start. That was really good characterization for her. And, just like, and then Aditil deciding at the end not to leave, it was a nice little kind of bookend for that.
Crew together.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Love that. We have Ed, that's a Cosmere name, but his full name's Edlin. Okay, cool.
We love Ed.
We love Ed.
Ed is the best.
He is a arcanist, so our Cosmere science officer, basically. Vaxillian heritage,
Obviously.
but not
Of
true
course.
Vaxillian. Not true.
Not true. No. Clearly.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy. We're going to dig into a lot of this lore stuff as we go on. But if you remember, Ati said Vax at the end of Secret History, and it was mentioned in the Elantris Anniversary Edition Ars Arcanum. That's our Vax reference.
As a place where
Which we've all read.
initiation is weird.
Yeah, so that's what we got here.
And Brandon has said Vax is implied to be a place.
Well, I feel like it's definitely a place now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Confirmed in this book. Vax a place.
Well,
Get
we
on
did
the
it, guys.
Coppermind.
Put that location tag on the
Yay.
Coppermind. We did it.
Yeah.
Yay.
Sometimes I get good wobs. Sometimes I get this.
Well, Ed's fun,
But no, Ed is great. Ed is everyone's every hardcore fan's kind of stand-in because he gets excited about everything, and he's just a little nerd. He's just a little guy.
Oh yeah.
I like how he keeps saying things and then like keeps getting interrupted. It's like, what did Sazed do?
The Harlem Shake.
Yes.
Telling people Sazed is the only shard to have ever performed the Harlem Shake.
He's very good at it.
He's a little behind the trends, but other than that, he is the only one to have done the Harlem Shake. Yeah.
I think it's good because in some sense, this book is very telly because Starling's going around of like, ooh, there's this wacky crew, and we're like talking about all this stuff, and so there is kind of a weight of exposition. So having Ed being like, all right, cool, I got out my Pokedex of entities, and we're going to read about the entities real quick because that's immediately relevant to what's happening, but otherwise I'm going to get interrupted all the time.
Like there's also a point like when they're getting to the Dromonad subastral. There's weird stuff going on here. Do you want the full explanation or not? And Lenore's like, just give it to us. It's like, thank you, Leonore.
Yeah, Leonore. I love
just as a writing decision to do that and make it so like you're excited for Ed to say stuff because he has interesting things to say. So as the reader, you're like, yes, please let him talk. Please let the exposition happen.
And also like Dusk asking a question of Starling, and Starling's like, well, it's complicated, which means I'd really rather my Arcanist explain. Love it. We love that here. And, Ed, references Argent, we love to see that. But we love
I'm in the book, yo.
I suppose. Long overdue, probably, in terms of all the cameos. It's about time.
Yeah.
Well, it had to be still Silverlight.
It did kind of need to be Silverlight. So it's about time.
I think it works. Yeah. Also, because this has come up like a dozen times.
It really has come up a lot.
A traitor? Aren't you a traitor?
Because these nerds would not get off my case during beta.
We did this first.
And you all nerds, I'm looking at you in the Emberdark channels, are just like, hey, do you guys think that Argent is the one who betrayed and told Danger about... No. I was with Brandon with my physical body, and his physical body was like a yard away. And I was like, hey, Brandon. Hey, Brandon. The other betas are getting on my case, and they're like, yeah, Argent's a traitor. Can you confirm that it was not I who was the snitch? And Brandon was like, yeah, it's not you. It's someone like overheard the conversation or something happened. So all of y'all, me, no snitch. Like, to be clear, I would snitch, but not for for Danger. Come on,
not for Danger. Like, come on, he sucks.
I would,
for Zythus or Dragon. Like, all right, now we're talking.
If it was Kelsier, I would betray for Kelsey. Like, that's fine, but for Danger,
are we gonna get tier list?
Oh my God.
Argent would betray tier list. Yeah, there we go.
It's the smash or pass, but it's actually ally betray.
Yeah.
Ally
Easy.
betray.
Good. We love
Dear
that.
listener, tell me if you think this sounds like something a traitor would say to cover up his betrayal.
Argent, are you really revealing NDA'd information by saying that? I feel like you might be a traitor.
I should have gotten that on audio.
No, we heard it.
We heard it.
No. I should have gotten Brandon's response on audio.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We have Leonore. She is a pilot. She is Malwish, but deserted the Malwish Space Force, and they don't. That seems like a problem. So
what? The space Nazis? The
space Nazis don't like deserters. That's crazy.
Yeah. Important to establish that there are Scadrians who are not overt villains, because that really is their main role in this book.
It's very much the pitch meeting thing. It's like, what's their deal? They're evil. It's like, yep, they are. What's Danger's deal? He condescends to what he considers primitive people, where we know in POV it's like, oh my god, you're such a jerk face.
Like
And
it
everyone
does have
recognizes
that
that.
Indiana Jones Nazi energy.
He absolutely has
Where it's
Indiana
like-
Yeah,
Jones
he
Nazi
does.
energy for
Dodger,
sure.
like he's not a good character. He's not an interesting character. He is like kind of the perfect character for this plot, though.
That's true, actually, because it's major Raiders of the Lost Ark energy where all the Nazis get annihilated by the magic thing that they do not take seriously, and then the Taquara
I see that.
completely eating them. That's true. Very true.
Yeah.
We
Like,
love that.
He did like the person in Dodger's like story position didn't need to be a nuanced and like dynamic antagonist. Just have the little bit cartoony evil guy mustache twirling. Like he's bad. We all know it. That's his role. He does a great job at it.
He's one notch too cartoony for
He's
me. I
very
wish he was.
cartoony.
I wish he had a little bit more dimension, but I'm not upset by how dumb he is.
Yeah.
There's a bit of like the colonialism where it's like, oh no, this guy's just a cartoon, like just, oh yeah, yes, your cute spirit quest and coming of age ceremony. I'm like, oh my god, I cannot
I am
wait for you to die.
43.
I cannot
yeah,
wait
it's
for
so
you to
funny.
die. You need to die in this book. And he did, and it was great.
Little late to become a man, don't you think? And this Dusk is like 40. ...
I am 43.
Yes. Oh man.
God, he's such a tool.
We have Zitzi, who works on operations and sensors and stuff, who, you know, is just a casual bird human, you know,
He's a bird
from
man.
the grand
Lonarch,
apparatus.
Eric,
you know, we all knew that.
Lonarchs
He's a
are not
Lonarch, okay?
bird people. They are humans whose hair evolved to look like feathers.
Yeah, I don't know if
because
that's
that's a thing that would happen.
I don't know
but
if that's
okay.
how evolution exactly works, Brandon, but sure, investiture.
I
Okay,
mean,
whatever.
It is possible, you know, convergent evolution.
That's,
You know, you could go from human to, you know, something that has feathers for random, unrelated reasons, and that just happens.
Is my question, is evolution operating at the time scale of Aiden Alcium, who appears to be creating worlds regularly? Like, that's my thing. Is I'm like,
no.
have the Lonarchs really been distinct from other humans for hundreds of thousands of years? You know, like that's the evolutionary time scale at the minimum, you know? So I'm like, or like it doesn't, I'm like, sure.
It's magic.
There's some
But-
artwork in here too of what he looks like.
yeah,
Oh, really?
no,
I
in the
don't-
group,
yeah.
the shots, yeah.
They don't. It doesn't look like feathers to me.
Well, I mean, he did the feathers on the skin, other than the crest, were like almost said to like be barely visible. So like it did kind of fit the
I
description.
mean, even on the crest, they look like
Afro?
baby feathers.
Afro, like a mohawk.
No. They look like I was imagining like
Yes.
full on like feathers, and they are much softer. Like that you would
oh,
see
wow,
on a
that's
baby
real
bird.
pixely.
Yeah, you're not gonna be able to see that.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
yeah,
more
that's-
like
Oh, I can
feathery.
I can put that on my cam.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All of the art is
Oh,
posted
nice.
on Brennan's website.
love that.
Oh, I
Hold
should
up.
do that. I'm looking in a bad and not a good place to find it.
Don't worry, we
Uh,
can get Jess to do biology work for like we can do that on this.
There we go.
I mean, it's kind of feathery. It's kind of feathery. It's a little
I like how
mohawky,
his eyebrows
admittedly.
get feathery
That's
too.
fine. Oh,
I
yeah,
think so.
I stand by
kinda like
mohawky. I think that looks like a mohawk.
Yeah.
That looks good. I mean, the description sounds completely insane. So the fact that like is that's a character design that makes sense. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, that's like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's if you are audio only, we're showing things on screen. But
Yeah.
like, so this is Z, the Zitzi. This is a Dittil.
Yep.
We love her.
that's the hat for
That's
Ed.
the
God.
Ed
Okay.
and his hat.
Oh man.
And this is Leonor.
Leonor.
First time we see a Maoish mask, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I guess the Bands
the
Morning
the
Leatherbound.
broadsheet.
Well, the broadsheet also, but the Bands of Morning Leatherbound had a portrait of Elik.
I need to look at some of these a little more closely.
No, that's
Apparently, I don't know
good.
what these
That's good.
illustrations are.
Also,
Is there a bug?
Who's rubbing her back? Who's
that's Ed
That's Ed
That's Ed.
That's
with
Ed.
his Arcanist
Oh.
hat.
with his floppy hat.
Oh, not a fan.
Yeah, it
This
looks like a
is,
pillowcase, admittedly, but
This
the
is
hat's
probably
crazy.
some like Malwish Space Force
Yeah,
logo.
probably. Yeah.
That I tried to zoom in.
I doubt she's still wearing Malwish Space
That does
Force
sound,
clothing.
Okay, that's fair. She's probably not. I don't know what logo.
Oh, then
that
there is
is.
a bug. There's a bug. That's
Oh,
our last crew
Chrysalis
member.
made it in. Yeah.
Chrysalis made it in,
Speaking
guys.
of the
Speaking of-
final member of the crew, Chrysalis.
We got
the
Chrysalis.
Sleepless. Actually, before we talk about Chrysalis,
Yes.
we have to talk about the other interesting thing about ZC,
Yes.
which is he's from the Grand
The
Apparatus.
Grand Apparatus.
yeah.
He is
Such
of
important.
Invention's people.
Hell yeah.
I thought you were gonna talk about his electricity powers.
Also, maybe has electricity.
Also,
I don't know
What?
what's
Okay,
going
I
on with
missed
that.
I missed
So-
that.
No, there
What?
is something. Yeah,
So
yeah.
It is unclear whether he has electricity powers. However, when he interacts with the ship's computer and with the data pad that they have, like when they put them in prison and they leave him a data pad. So when he interacts with both of these pieces of technology, which could be Scadrian technology in both cases, he doesn't actually like
Definitely.
touch the touch screen. There is little electricity that zaps between his fingers and the piece of tech, and it's unclear
Oh.
whether that is just like the tech for some weird ass reason shoots lightning at the user and that's how you interact with it, or whether he's shooting the lightning and that's how he interacts with it.
Big fans of Emperor Palpatine
Fascinating.
over the Malwish.
Yeah.
Kelsier gets weird later, guys.
Well, that's cool. That's a fun. I mean, like invention like that. You
Yeah,
can
no,
definitely see
that we're gonna have a sleepless Grand Apparatus episode. Don't you worry. Like that's
Yes,
crap's great.
because the Grand Apparatus it's like a mass of perpetually moving rooms and like it's bonkers.
Yep.
But like it's run by the Sleepless. And
And,
like they're doing experiments on the inhabitant.
and it is thought to predate the shattering.
Which I don't know how that makes sense with inventions people, but we'll save it for an invention episode.
It could have been uninhabited potentially.
Or inhabited by someone else.
Yeah. It's very invention vibes, that's for sure. But yeah, the Grand Apparatus, very cool. You can always tell when Brandon's like, "Oh, I've wrote a thing. I'm going to name drop the Grand Apparatus."
Not the apparatus.
Yes, and so now we get the reference. Then we have Chrysalis, the doctor. She's sleepless. Hoyt invited her to the ship, and is kind of blamed for killing the Malwish Prime Minister, but actually was not. She was there protecting the Malwish Prime Minister,
She was there as a spy, working for
working for
the Prime Minister. She was not tasked with defense.
Okay.
Well, good thing because she didn't do a very good job.
And also they found one of her hoardlings and assumed that it was like did she not have a contract with I guess they assumed that she betrayed him or
The
something.
sleepless.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're spooky. I can see what's happening here.
If you met a bug person, like I try to be a very open-minded person, that would be a challenge. You'd be like, all right.
And especially like if they have their skin down, as she does at the end of the book, and it's literally just a bunch of bugs that are clinging together.
Yeah.
And they're mimicking your voice. Like they've trained themselves on your voice. Like, they're doing some nefarious ass stuff.
Yeah.
Like
It's like you're not really helping your case. But like there is a very sad scene at the end where like right after Dusk like defeats Sudakwara and like she's showing like her like bulk of her body dying.
Oof.
And like Dusk is quite justified in feeling disgusted. She's like, no, not you too. I'm like, I'm sorry, Chrysalis. That is legitimately, he's not horrified because you're a bug person. He's horrified because you're in a horrifying situation.
Yeah.
that's so sad.
I'm a little frustrated that he doesn't clarify.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was
But,
really cool, Chrysalis talking to Dusk. Like that was just such a fun little mechanic there.
And we did get more Sleepless lore. Like, we know, like, they were originally discovered by the guy named Climaxin.
Sure.
And so, like,
Good
they're
old
referred to
Climaxin.
as Climaxin's hordes, which is where the term hordeling comes from.
Sure.
Not all Sleepless use hordelings. Some of them use Node for their little bits.
Sure.
And they've got kind of like the core. It wasn't clear how dispersed the consciousness was prior to this. You know, like if it was mostly small bugs, and it kind of existed in the interim between them. But now it seems like there definitely are some very important hordelings that if they die, like that's probably it for the Sleepless.
That makes a
The
lot of sense.
personality nodes and the memory nodes are what matters.
And the Sleepless are on Dromonod. Yikes. Okay.
I imagine they are in many
They're
places.
everywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just like, that must have been. I wonder how they get across, the Emberdark and things. Like, I want the story of how the bugs get, across there.
I mean, they might fly.
Yeah.
They do. Like, you think about like the mapping that was going on in Yumi, where it seemed like their kind of MO was to like send out hordelings and like kind of establish like what's out there.
That's
you
true.
know, like you could definitely see
That makes sense.
that.
I didn't get the impression they came by way of Shadesmar, the cognitive realm.
Yeah, I mean,
I figured like because like they can't be going through the cognitive realm to like maintain contact, because like no one knows where the perpendicularity is. Like
sure. Oh yeah.
Otherwise, like Chrysalis would know like it wasn't on the island.
Okay, so
Well, they don't all need to be sharing. Like all Sleepless do not have to have have perfect information with all Sleepless. You know what I mean? Like I could see a Sleepless discovering the perpendicularity and not sharing it with all individuals of that species. You know what I mean? Like that seems pretty plausible.
But like the way it sounds, like there's like some level of communication, like of that, like the Sleepless in residence on First of the Sun like are in contact with like the greater Sleepless diaspora.
Chrysalis knows about the AVR. She knows about, when Dusk assumes the I don't remember but like the rain pose, which is a pose of reverence and stuff like that. So like
rain acceptance pose.
She also went through quite the character arc in this story.
Chrysalis
Even
probably
though it
got
was in
the
the background.
most character stuff of the crew. I know talking with my wife, Jess, that she was like, there's not that much character development for a lot of the crew members. And I think that's a fair like critique.
Yep.
Like if she loves found family stories and she's like, I would like a lot more. But like Chrysalis got a lot, like coming to terms with Chrysalis as being a member of a crew. That's definitely an important subplot here. So I like that a lot.
And she's presented as the outsider, which makes sense too. You know, like she's the one who doesn't need to, but is kind of being accepted into the group.
Yeah.
And they went back for her.
Yes.
To a large extent, like Ed doesn't get any like character. Ed is just there, right?
He's science guy.
Leonore barely gets any stuff. Like there's a little bit of like confidence with her, but like, Ditto doesn't really get anything. It's just she chooses to stay. And so the only crew members and Naz
is in prison
story
most of the book. So
obviously Starling gets a story, right?
Yep.
But outside of her, the only crew members that get any kind of character stuff are Zitzi and Chrysalis, and that's because their stories are
that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. I liked the stuff with Chrysalis. Like I thought that was fun. I can see how Zitzi being like, oh, we have to go back for Chrysalis. Like maybe that needed a little bit more foundation, but it was fun. I like that.
I don't think it did. Like it feels.
Yeah, I think I've just seen some critiques of that, and like, if that didn't work for you, I don't think that's like unreasonable, right? But like, it worked fine for me. Yeah,
I think that like, if Dusk did not exist in this story, I would have expected more arc for the crew.
Absolutely.
Like that's kind of what we're we're kind of sharing this. We're kind of sharing that, and the fact that maybe now he's a member of the crew and he's gotten his arc. So maybe in the future there'll be time for other people to have arcs if we see his characters again. But yeah, for the length of the book Brandon was going for, I didn't expect more from the crew beyond being them being generally likable and you know, and like some interesting moments with them, which I thought we accomplished.
Yeah, I do think
I agree.
Yeah. Speaking of interesting moments, there's one other crew member that we did discard very quickly. You know, just the original Captain Crow. Crow's back. What did we think of that?
And God again.
I liked it for the amount we got it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think I would have loved if Crow had been there the entire book.
Yeah.
But like, it makes sense, like, because we're dealing with Xysis and it's a ship that, like, yeah, he would put the ship captain in charge of a ship. Like, that all makes sense. So it's like a little bit of like, oh yes, like all of these stories like are in the same universe. Like there's going to be overlap. And it's not always like the big characters. Sometimes it's like the small characters. So yeah, I liked it.
Incredibly funny that she got mutinied on twice.
It is very funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
We love
I
that.
like the little teases back to Tress of like, this isn't my first mutiny. Starling's like, oh, I think like she has experience like on an actual sailing vessel, like just from her vibes.
Sort of. Yeah.
That's the kind of callback that I don't feel like, in some sense, yes, it's a bit fan servicey, but in another sense, like if you haven't read Tress, I think this totally makes sense. And I don't think you're like missing out there. Like you get enough Crow for that, and you get the hints of Crow's just like, you know what, I'm just resigned to the mutiny. I know I've lost the ship. This is pointless, but you know, you should watch out because, you know, maybe I'll come get you. You know, hey, it's fun.
She was like a little, I honestly, like a little more sympathetic here. Like I felt like she had grown a little bit from Tress in a way.
Yeah.
You know, she was a little more self-aware, and I thought it was successful. I really liked that we got to see her again, and it's a little bit of characterization for Xysis as well. You know, like we definitely had some moments where, you know, we're like, all right, is he like, are dragons like slavers? You know, like, is that the vibe? Like, you know, and like, it's clear that like, that's not really the case. And like, you know, he like somebody competent comes to him, and like before long, like they're, you know, he's using them maybe for good or for ill, but like they're not, you know what I mean? Like Crow is exactly the sort of person that he needs, just somebody with limited softness in their heart and willingness to get a job done, you know, and she's very successful in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do we want to talk about Xysis here? Like that's a segue. Thanks, David.
You're
what
welcome.
A guy! That scene with the piano is good. That was a hot scene.
Love that he has a piano.
Oh, it's like
That will look so well on screen.
a lot of this is a very cinematic and adaptable book,
Yes.
probably because it has so many sci-fi tropes of, you know, other sci-fi stories, you know, like it's very workable, but love Xysis. I love that whole scene of just Xysis just like making Starling wait. Like, I mean, you know, there is the dragon entrance, and it's like, well, I mean, you could get up there if you wanted, but
Except you couldn't.
except you couldn't. Oh, make your play, Starling. I'm getting bored. Like, I'll love every line from him. He's great.
And it's just like, he like, because they make a deal. It's like, yeah, I'll let you go off and like attempt this impossibility. And then you're going to come work for me like as a demigod, because that's how dragons work. It's just like, yeah, you're just going to, demigod is just a job you can have.
How many monarchs do you have? Oh, 6 or 7.
Yeah. That's step 2. You know, you go, you know, you're just like a hero, and then you're a demigod, and you work up to in the pantheon, and then you become a monotheistic deity among the dragons. You know, it's a whole chain.
It's the whole idea that like he would be the dragon to essentially like convince Starling to go back on her stubbornness, and that kind of clout goes a long way with him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And he's very valuable as we've got, even though Frost isn't here, between the letters and like, you know, Starling's overall vibe, like we have a lot of sense of like the dragons like Frost, who are very much, you know, non-interventionist, like pure good deities in the way they exist. And it's good to have Xysis, who's like he's like, yeah, I'm not involved as I'm pulling all these strings. And I'll help you be an independent planet against Gadriel if it serves me and my interest.
10,000-year-old CEO with vast amounts of power and influence, and I'm just like, I'm playing all the strings.
Remind me.
Yeah.
Did we get confirmation that Xysis was foil in Word of Brandon? Or is this the first like explicit
I
confirmation?
think we had Word of Brandon, and now it is
I thought
explicit
so.
in text. I think that's how it is, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Like not surprising, but like nice that like
Sure.
it's a little bit more of this like dragons having two names, a fancy name, and then like a common name.
I love
Starling says second name.
Okay.
I don't know how that's not a proper noun. It's like when she speaks with Dager and he calls her
Sure.
Ilistandrista, she goes, "Call me by my second name, Starling."
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that leads right into seeing for a long time, Brandon has been talking about Silverlight. And now we know why it's called Silverlight, despite the Microsoft product being named Silverlight. And so, like, it makes sense why Brandon called it Silverlight. And man, Silverlight was cool. I loved going to Silverlight. That was fantastic.
Yeah. Like
We love that.
what a delight.
We
love that. That was fantastic.
I remember like going from because like the previous chapter ends with them, agreeing to drop off the Iriali at Silverlight. And I think even at that stage, it had not registered with me that we are gonna see Silverlight.
Yeah.
And then the opening of the next chapter is like they are in Silverlight or, approaching Silverlight and they're describing the city. And my little nerdy heart was happy.
Yeah.
And it's just the nexus of which Dragonsteel Nexus is now named according to this shirt.
Not to be confused with the nexuses on the Shadesmar map of, but we'll ignore that.
Yeah,
that'll be
Which we don't know anything about.
We don't know
No
anything.
Nexus here. It's still Dragonsteel 2022 on this show. We hadn't developed Nexus. And it doesn't say Minicon though.
I have
They were
not
getting
Starling
there. We were
here.
iterating. Yeah. Not Starling,
so
but the katana.
Also not for
The Nexus, super cool. Largest natural perpendicularity.
Yep.
Which implies the existence of unnatural perpendicularities, but that's a topic for another time. And it's it's basically a sun the size of a city.
Yes.
Which is really cool.
So cool.
Also really weird that it goes to 3 places in the physical realm.
Yeah.
I struggle with that, not in like a negative, like, it's cool. Like, it is what it is. But like, I'm like, okay, so Shadesmar really isn't 1-to-1 because this is a 3-to-1.
Well, it's not only that, but it gets even more weird, right? Because they talk about how perpendicularities usually anchor the physical. Like they're like when Dager is talking with Dusk and like trying to get a feel for how is this person here, right? He goes and Dusk is like, sometimes we dream and we show up in this place, which is obviously like he's lying here. But Dager interacts with that is he goes, the overlap between the physical realm and Shadesmar is not perfect. It's not 1-to-1. It's possible that you show up in the vicinity of the perpendicularity. But that's weird because usually perpendicularities anchor the two realms. They stabilize the junction between the two realms.
Silverlight's allowed to be weird, though. Like,
no, absolutely, yeah, 100%. But it's like, where are the quote unquote exits of the Nexus like in the physical realm relative to where the Nexus is in the physical? Is that I don't know.
Yeah, because it's Yolen apparently was a huge secret until relatively recently.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, or some of the information about the importance of Yolen.
Yeah.
At least for sure.
And like elsewhere, we've known that like Yolen's been described as hidden away, I think.
Yeah, or shrouded or something. I
think
shrouded was the term.
Something like
is
that.
What Chris says, yeah.
It's shadowed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised if like Silverlight isn't directly opposite. So like I don't think like the region around Silverlight in the cognitive realm like corresponds to Yolen. It's not in the Yolen subastral. That's the word
there we go. Yeah. Sure. Sure.
I would agree.
Subastral, such a useful term.
It's great.
So it's like it must be one of the other exits. I would think.
Unless it's not related to any of those subastrals,
and
it's
I
just
don't
its own
think it
thing.
is, right? So because Silverlight, it doesn't like subastrals are defined by the thoughts of the people who are kind of on the other side that are thinking about this area, right? The Rosharan subastral full of glass beads because gems and glass. Scadrian subastral full of mist because mist. I know. And so you would expect that if Silverlight is in a subastral, the environment that you see around would be, pigments or gems or, buffs of air or whatever, right? But it's not.
Bane
It's just
life thoughts. Yeah.
whatever. But it's this featureless glass obsidian that is also the kind of featureless glass obsidian that you see in the corridors between subastrals when you are like just in the middle of nowhere. And so I think Silverlight is in the middle of nowhere in Shadesmar.
It's like pure.
And the Nexus somehow teleports you to essentially 3 different places.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like a triangulation sort of thing.
Sure.
If you think about it too, if you have this nexus where everyone's thinking about you go into this pool, you show up at Silverlight, the city, but maybe you have different pools and different planets that all show up at Silverlight, the city. And because cognitively you're thinking about it as the same place, just a thought.
That you can,
early on.
like you can from a perpendicularity go to just direct to Silverlight by wanting to, or that there happen to be other perpendicularities that are specifically linked.
Yeah, so the idea being like very, very early on in the Cosmere, or at least in the development of Shadesmar, or the cognitive, sorry. If you so very early on in the development, if going through the Nexus brought everyone to the same city, like it was the same city that was this magical city on the other side of the pool, the perpendicularity, whatever. And then Shadesmere kind of developed around it. It's kind of a wild theory, a little bit tinfoil hatty.
It feels like it's got to be a crossroads of some sort. Like even if it's not that they were being directed there, that like lots of people from other planets like happen to be, I feel like Rashar's been talked about in a similar way, where it's on the way to a lot of stuff, and so like it acts as a hub. I definitely agree though, because like my question is, it seems like Yolen, the perpendicularity in Yolen is shadowed, people can't access it, and it's got to be a valuable perpendicularity. So where does it go? Like, if you're taking the Great Star, you're mostly not allowed to go to Yolen. Where are you mostly going if you're doing that?
Yeah, where does the Nexus go?
Also a good question.
We will not know, but we will theorize.
We will not know
on a Shadesmar Silverlight episode. Don't you worry, guys. We will have an episode on that. But Silverlight was formerly Dragon Palaces. We love that. And now they're giant skyscrapers made of dragon steel. Oh, we all love that. That's great.
And even before the palaces, it was Zeiss's den. Yeah. And not just his, but like he had a den at this place. So like it goes way beyond or before like palaces.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I am definitely curious if it seems like the other side for Yolen is like that Great Star where the dragons could access, if that's a post-shattering thing or if that's like something that happened during the shattering that linked this area to. Yeah.
I think it's because the name of there's a city called Lorcal, which is this flying city there.
Yeah.
And I have a quote on that.
I forgot about that. I forgot the flying city for sure.
There's a flying city up there, up in Yolen. Yeah.
So basically, like if anybody could set up this weird bonkers perpendicularity, I think Ada Nauseam.
Yeah.
Just blaming Ada Nauseam.
I think that's a great strategy for sure. Yeah. Ada Nauseam wanted it this way.
It's unclear. But we do know that there exists the Grand Ivory City of Lorcal, built high along the glittering skyways of Yolen.
Not a highway. Yeah.
Far above the wild forests, constructed by Starling's people during their primordial service to Ada Nauseam before the rivalry between the Fane and the Unfane.
That's
Okay.
that's such a cool line.
want
Oh my
this so
god,
bad.
that's awesome.
That
So-
sounds pre-existing. That
Yeah,
sounds
yeah, yeah, that's
pre-existing.
So Lorcal definitely pre-shattering. We don't know whether the Great Star of Yolen is pre-existing, but
I
it
feel like
would
it
seem
has.
weird if like the Yolish perpendicularity shows up just above the or in this city or whatever.
Yeah, I think
it
it's
feels
built
like the two
around
are
that.
tied together.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then
Mhm.
the dragons were there in Silverlight and started the thing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I do hope that we will get an opportunity. Like, you know, Brandon's great accomplishment here is like we've got all these cool timelines. Like, I would love to see Silverlight in different eras. Like, even if it's only
That's
for
true,
the moment,
yes.
you know, like and various like
Ooh.
when we get back to Dragonsteel, whenever he writes that, like I feel
That
like
is gonna be really
fingers
cool,
crossed,
actually.
you know?
Yeah,
That would be
100%.
really cool.
We love
Though,
that.
like, the other thing to keep in mind with Silverlight is the time dilation. Like,
Yeah.
time moves slower in Silverlight compared to the rest of the Cosmere.
Yep. It's one of the reasons why clearly some of our world hoppers have lived so long. I don't think that's the only reason, but that is a reason.
Good luck to the timeline interested folks, both internally and externally.
Hey.
Well, fortunately, there is an implication that time compression in Silverlight is not constant
Yeah, great.
because.
Is it fortunate or unfortunate? Yeah.
well,
so
if you're trying to math it, very unfortunate.
well, but it's also fortunate because you don't have to math it. You can just say that it varies, and
For that
it's
30 years, it was
So-
times 5. Yeah.
We Arcanists love when the numbers are more vague. Hey, we love that.
Look, I know that everyone wants the grand textbook of all the things in the Cosmere with all the dates and all the numbers and all of that stuff. No.
No.
Don't hold
Not
your
worth
breath.
it.
Yeah, so Evgeni, you're Ed references you twice in this.
Twice. I forgot about one of them, and you guys reminded me.
Yeah, you literally forgot about one of them. That's very funny.
Well, I had because they're about the same thing, and I conflated them, right?
Yeah. You're also wearing an interesting shirt there. Hey.
I am wearing an interesting shirt. Yeah, and your viewers, you're not going to be able to see that very well.
Unless you look at my screen.
Listeners, you're not going to be able to see that at all because you're listening.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
Click on the video. We have
Do click on the video, but I'm wearing official Arcanist merch.
Yes.
Does it count as merch if you can't actually buy it?
Yeah, I would say no.
I don't know what to call it.
Swag.
Gear,
It's swag.
Swag. It's
yeah.
swag.
I hate that. Anyway,
You can't buy it.
that's true. Anyway, I'm wearing licensed. Can I say licensed?
Official. It's official.
Official.
Yeah.
Official Arcanist T-shirt.
Yes.
Not a
That-
t-shirt, it's a
Totally.
photo.
You're doing great. You can tell we didn't prep this part, guys.
Yeah. And you
I
can also
don't
tell it's been a while that we've been on this call.
I don't know what to call it. Anyway, all of the official Arcanists, not just the ones in the book, but like me, Ian, Eric, David, Joff, and Ben,
Yep.
have one of these. This is an official logo, Silverlight Arcanist logo.
Love that.
You can designed by Isaac. You can
See
Ian,
the
can you
Nexus?
bring up the better one?
We got the Nexus
you can see
down below.
You can see the Nexus down
We got
there,
the
and you can see the
towers.
skyscrapers.
We love that.
Mhm.
That's
Yes.
very cool.
And so I've had this for about a year now, but I'm beyond. I mean, you can imagine how exciting it is to be name dropped in a book, right?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
I am mildly amused that Brandon chose to use my nickname instead of my real name.
Well, sometimes you have a name like Eric, and there's already an Eric in White Sand, and so you just have to go with something, and
yeah.
people will
And
recognize it.
Ethan is in the books as Scar.
Yeah,
So-
yeah. Sometimes you have to go by Professor Lake and, giving a lecture to Zysis as Zysis wouldn't want to miss it. No pressure on me, guys. God, terrifying.
You imagine he's like that was a miss. That was a snooze, Eric. Like you really blew
it's
that one.
No.
Well,
I
the
don't
problem
want to
is he
serve
wouldn't
water
even
tears.
say that.
A bro die. Yeah.
He would just walk out.
Oh yeah, that would be the real insult. Yeah.
Maybe a little piano jingle on the way out. Like
But yeah, I know that a lot of you have probably caught on to this, but I have a character. I didn't know about this until I saw the book. This is not.
No. Brandon doesn't consult with
no.
anyone. It just appears.
No. You just open the book and your name is there.
You're just there. Or not.
So there's a character named after me. There's a character named after Jess.
Yep.
Lady Lemnis, and there is a Professor Lake who
That's
is Eric there.
Yep.
Fully expect that at some point you will see some of the other people on this call.
I imagine.
At some point.
I imagine so.
people who aren't traitors to the cause or aren't Adrian moles, who are committed to anti-fascism.
No. That'll change my overlay. Don't do it. Don't change my overlay. And we also got a reference to, of course, another Arcanist, which we clearly need to add to our calls. We got Julio. Not a Shardcaster, but is the
new 17 Shard mod.
I do love, he absolutely should be an Arcanist, so I love that name drop, and that that feels great. But it is funny to be like Argent or Jess, and then Julio, that is wild.
He's like, you don't understand aluminum, Eric, and you're like, okay, explain it.
Julio seems great. We love that. We'll get an interview
Julio.
with him. Please explain your things.
It does raise some questions about. I mean, obviously he made it off Roshar, right?
Yeah.
It is. I don't remember him being with Risen. In
I thought he was in her interlude.
Partners.
Yeah.
Well,
was that
there.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Risen is there.
So good chance they left together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We love that. Julio's great. Loved him since Dawn Shard, especially. This is fantastic.
It would be fun to see him in not an interlude, but in a speaking role somewhere in some a chapter, like the Zysis chapter, where it's just one chapter. We're just having a chat with Julio or whatever.
Yeah,
we're going to see Silverlight University. That's happening.
We are going to see Silverlight University. There's weird stuff with Chris. She's gone. Who knows?
She's back home?
Well, yes, we do know where she is. That is true. She's on home. Cool. So sorry. When you're in the book and you talk about the books, we got to talk about that. So, there you go.
Hey,
we gotta.
We try not to brag or be self-indulgent too much, but I think
we have to.
I think this is an exception. I think this is an exception. We can
this book more than any others.
Yeah, oh my god, yes. This one feels good to read through and be no continuity. Feels good. That feels
oh my god,
fantastic.
yes.
Let me tell you. Just to make sure space age stuff is good. So we're solid.
I've seen a lot of debate on the distinction between the Unsea and the Emberdark and the Dromonad Subastro and where one ends, where the other one starts, and things like that. I feel like I have a really confident grasp on a lot of these things. Part of that confidence comes from the fact that I have been thinking about this stuff for the past year.
Yeah.
So, there's some behind the scenes stuff that we can't talk about, but I feel like everything fits together well.
Yeah, no, no notes. We can get into more in that. We are going to have a Shadesmar Silverlight episode for sure. Lots of Shadesmar stuff in this book, and just the Emberdark and stuff, and so much stuff there. I do want to touch on our good friends, our best buds, the entities. They're nice. They're friendly.
Yes.
We love that. Yes. We love Eldritch
One of them
monsters.
becomes friendly.
Well, yeah. See, they're friendly. You just have to believe.
You just have to imagine them as friendly, and they become your friends.
That's easy.
Easy though, yeah.
Not a lot of work.
Yeah.
The entities are so cool. Like they're might be one of my favorite thing about this book.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, 100%.
Like their whole vibe is perfect. I love a little eldritch horror in my fantasy. Like no complaints there. The whole like stop motion that they do is just there's such a clear visual there that is weird and disconcerting and wrong. And it's like, what would that, if I saw that happening in real life, I don't know how I would react, because it would be like, this should not be happening.
Yeah.
This is breaking the laws of reality as I understand them, which is great. And it's great finally getting lore about the evil and like what happened with Ambition's death, like the Grand Knell, the Knell, the Grand Disturbance of the Shard of Ambition's death, whatever the long thing is, where whenceforth comes the current, which like was hinted at, was name dropped in Wind and Truth, and it's like calling it the Knell as in Death Knell is just, when I made that connection, I'm just like, yeah, that's awesome.
That's Serenity right there.
Yes. I do have opinions about some of the other names that the entities have, though, which maybe I'll let everybody else have their general thoughts on entities first.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think my favorite part about the entities is specifically how the stories affect them, and how you have this huge creature that's basically unbeatable, and yet the stories of a culture being told over and over, and the perception of a culture just being so thoroughly influenced over time, has turned this entity into this friendly entity, this friendly being who can be controlled.
But I big disagree on the friendly part. I know that in the epilogue, the Dakwara is like this puppy that is basking in the light of the perpendicularity. She was not like that 2 chapters ago.
I mean, the Malwish space fighters going over to the perpendicularity, they're like, oh yeah, no, we're not gonna go. The Dakwara is very good at
details.
Yeah. Friendly to our friends, but it's like, it was brought to heel, which is, I think, is really cool.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And I do want to say, I love how that was foreshadowed, because Ed's like, oh yeah, they don't like going to subastrals, because then like they can be like really affected by people's thoughts, and it's like, oh, that's good. I like that.
It's like, it's very reminiscent. This is like how Investor functions to an extent everywhere. But like, it's very reminiscent of Yumi and the Nightmare Painters, of like the Nightmare Painters painting the nightmares. Like, is this exact process in writ small?
Check out our episode on Komashi Pop Nightmare Painters.
Yes. Nice. Yeah, I loved how the stories affected the entities. I thought thematically it was really fun how that all worked with Kakaban, and how like the stories mattered. And I thought that was a really fun message, and that's one of the things I really appreciated on a reread, that I thought the theme was really strong in that sense with Dusk's arc.
It does. I don't disagree with anything that's been said. It does make me wonder about, like, why do we not have weaponized stories is I guess what I'm trying to get at, right? If like, why are the entities so scary? If and, maybe this is just not as easy as I'm trying to make it say, but like, if you can just throw like 10,000 people at an entity and have them believe flower thoughts,
I don't think you could just throw 10,000 people and have them think flower thoughts. I think you have to have a planet's worth of people thinking about a thing for thousands of years.
At least centuries, right? Yeah.
At least centuries.
I think
also having a specific vision of the flower thoughts too. General flower thoughts I don't know would work as well, but having a specific story to follow, a specific idea.
Sure, that's also easy, right?
I also think there's an aspect to maybe they're being influenced by people's thoughts that it's like, yeah, these scary monsters are scary, and that is making them maybe a bit more scary, right?
Or creepy at least.
You know, like I like people are calling it the evil, and maybe that's instilling it, like that malice that Starling feels, that the entity wants Starling to like despair before killing Starling. Like it's not just like a pure like force of nature, like Ed said, right? Like Starling's like, that's not true.
Doesn't she think at some point too that, oh, this is why it's called the evil?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then maybe the other way around is maybe it's evil.
Maybe
because
partially. I can't imagine Ambitious Death was good. Like I don't think their start point was a neutral thing. Like it didn't seem great, but like they could have gotten worse because of that perception over time, right?
I think that's an interesting point, Eric, because it definitely they would be influencing them on Threnody, you know, like that. And like maybe that was kind of their cultural thing, was like kind of Lovecraftian, like unknowable monsters, you know, and like that's kind of why that like they started out in that way, and then it sort of gradually morphs into something else as time goes on. But it definitely was interesting to me that they were portrayed as so malevolent, because it's not really tied to Ambition's intent necessarily.
No.
You know, like that's
Well,
that's
but
what we're
Ambition, we are told that Odium removed Ambition's intent, which is a can of worms we cannot unpack in a reactions episode. But
give us 1.5 hours, okay, and we can get through it. No,
yeah. We will. There's so much to talk about. I'm glad we'll have plenty of episodes because we got to make them last. It is funny to imagine like the worst culture in the Cosmere to be shaping these evils, these entities' thoughts, is Threnody, for exactly this reason, because they would have these legends that, you know, shape them into these evil monstrosities. Like, yeah, that wasn't the best idea, but you know, there you go.
And they don't know, but I do think overall that the vibe is correct. That I don't think that you can send like a city ship of 10,000 people who are going, and it's a butterfly, like it's a butterfly, and we believe it. Like you need the layers of myth and like the history and the generations to slowly work your way through this entity. You cannot collectively wish it something else. Like otherwise Starling and the crew might have tried something like that, even on a smaller scale, and just been like, yeah, it's not mad. It's not mad at us.
I think
you know?
It does
like,
need to be a lot because it's so much investiture. Like it's so powerful. So you need like a lot of history to deal with that, to shape
they
it.
do mention it as a possibility. Like I think there's a reference to, you know, Ed says, oh, something this big, you're not going to be able to just, you know, force it into a shape, which is why I said, you know, 10,000 people or whatever.
I don't think that line means that, but we can dig into that later.
Sure.
But
also having a very invested being might make a difference too.
It might.
Yeah.
Like a painter can take care of a single nightmare, and you know,
I mean, Kakuban was probably he was certainly the inciting incident for all of that. Like he had a role to play in all of that.
Yeah, like
didn't he also down the investiture?
Yeah.
Yeah, he chugged a bunch of investiture.
Yeah, he was all golden, and so he didn't immediately just die to the thing. Yeah. Love that.
That's a good point.
That was such a cool flashback. Oh my god, I love that.
Yeah.
I really like the Kakuban stuff.
That was a good flashback.
Well, okay. But also, like, just seeing Kakuban's corpse, like, I teared up. Oh, man.
That was cool. I'm like, do they bring it back to First of the Sun and, like, give it, like, a state funeral? Because, like, this is, like, the guy responsible for bringing them to this world.
Or they just, like, keep it as the tomb there. Yeah.
You guys want to hear my inconsequential beef with, like, minor beef with this book?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Do it.
When Dusk enters the Kakuban vision, like he essentially inhabits Kakuban, right? Mm-hmm. And as he does, he goes, oh, according to legend, Kakuban had been a large man, but he was barely like 5.5 feet or whatever. How you don't have a perception of how tall you are when you are inside your, like, that's an external, like, you can't inhabit a body and go, oh, that body is 5.5 feet tall.
I don't know. If I woke up
reference.
If I woke up tomorrow and I was a foot shorter, I feel like I'd be like, seems like things are like I'm looking up a lot more than I normally. You know, like I'm looking up at a lot of people around me, like the people on the ship, or you know, like I seem to be shorter on this.
But
this
you
craft that at least
on
is
a
somewhat
little
familiar.
ship with 2 other people and no other frame of reference.
Well, I guess when we can do that, we will know whether or not it's realistic or not, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or we can get a VR headset on and decide if it feels weird. That's a good inconsequential piece of beef.
I like that. Ian, I think you have a beef as well.
Okay.
Beef me up, Ian.
Yeah.
Let's go.
It's funny you mentioned beef. Okay. So the entities.
Yes.
Super cool. Dodger mentions 2 alternate names for them.
Yes.
One of them I hate with a burning passion.
Okay, cool.
One of them is fine. Nephilim, for those who don't know, is a term from Judeo-Christian mythology.
Yep.
There's debate on what actually it refers to, but like the common interpretation is like they are giants who are the offspring of angels and humans, which doesn't really describe what's going on here. It's like I would assign that to like some sort of hybrid mortal, like physical cognitive creature. Like if this is cursed, if Kaladin and Syl did have a kid, I would refer to that as a Nephilim.
Okay, all right.
You mean when Kaladin and Syl have a kid?
Yeah,
when they go to the
I
God
don't think it's
Forge.
gonna happen. If something like that were to happen, like I feel like that would be the perfect place for Nephilim,
We love
more
that.
so than this. But Nephilim is such a cool name that I don't mind.
Yeah.
Its use here.
Absolutely.
The vibes are great.
Yeah, that's right.
He should call them avatars, I feel like. But anyway, because the vibes are good. And words don't mean anything.
I think there are enough beefs in the cast. Like we can keep Ian distracted for a very long time.
Just on names. Names alone.
Yeah, welcome
you're
to
talking-
another installment.
Talking about
of
the
Ian-
idoliths in Shadesmar, right?
Yes. Welcome to another installment of Ian complains about birds and Brandon using them bad.
Yes.
Idoliths, not actually a thing in any mythology. It's a thing from Final Fantasy. Eidolons are a thing from Greek mythology. Like they're like spirits of the dead, which, hey, that totally vibes with what the entities are as fragments of a dead shard. Why aren't they called Eidolons? Idoliths are a thing in like one Final Fantasy game, I think, from the brief research I did on this word when it popped up. And I'm like, hey, Brendan, what is that?
2 of them.
Okay, 2 of them. Eidolons are a thing in many Final Fantasy games where they're like great elemental spirits or something. Idoliths are apparently like crystals related to the power of the Eidolons. That's as much as I figured out, which makes sense because lith,
Lithos.
the suffix from the Greek language means stone. Crystals are stone.
Yeah, like
Idolith
megalith
as a stone
right?
related to the Eidolon
Monolith.
makes sense.
Monolith, yeah.
Yeah. Neolithic, Paleolithic eras, like
Yeah.
this shows up in a lot of words. In the immortal words of, I think it's a Wendy's commercial of "Where's the beef? Where's the stone, Brandon?" What part of these things are stone?
None. You're correct.
It's like this feels like, oh, Brandon like just stole a word from Final Fantasy and didn't think about what it actually meant.
From Final Fantasy 13 and 13 too, according to the Final Fantasy wiki.
Do we know that Brandon played Final Fantasy 13? Who has tracked what Final Fantasy he's played?
I don't think so, but I could
This
be
is
wrong.
the WOBs
I mean-
we need.
I don't know about 13. We know about 6 at the very
We
least.
know a lot
Like
about
6
6.
labs.
And Brandon liking 6, yes.
Yeah.
In 10,
But I
think.
agree. Idolith would be Eidos would be form or shape. Lith would be stone. So what stone is being like? What shape of stone are we dealing with when we're talking about these idoliths?
I think I literally just like
very
read it as
specifically-
Eidolon. It didn't even notice this. So yeah.
Because it should be Eidolon. Eidolon would work so well.
Yeah, I kind of feel like this is something that just didn't get caught. Like, I honestly, like, that's the sort of thing where I'm just like, yep, that feels like,
I thought it
like,
did.
I don't
if
know.
it's, well, maybe, but I'm like, if this is a word that only appears in Final Fantasy 13 and Final Fantasy 13 Part 2, I don't know anything about Final Fantasy.
According to
Like,
Final
unless
Fantasy,
it
like, that feels like a mistake. Like, that doesn't feel like a reference. It doesn't feel like, that feels like, oh, we accidentally took this proprietary thing by mistake and put it in our book. Oh, well,
a lot of
Unless it comes
Eidolons.
from another myth.
Anyway, that's interesting.
Are we doing final beefs? Because we can talk about the tunnel, Eric, if we want.
Yeah, let's that's what a great segue. Let's talk about the tunnel. Let's talk about the tunnel.
The Cave of Death.
Hasn't been done.
It's great.
On a first read, I'm like, we're spending a lot of time in the tunnel. On a reread, I felt that there was not too much tunnel. Like, I liked seeing Starling and Dusk, talk. That's fine, but
I'll give a slightly more negative tunnel perspective, which is like,
okay.
it's another thing where I'm like, is it a book ruiner? No. Did I need to go through the same tunnel with the same sequence of the same threats every single time? Like, I was very excited that we brought the Pachi survival thing back. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, I kind of thought that didn't matter.
Sure.
And it's cool to see him dealing with the same threats. Like, it makes you feel like, oh, Dusk is the guy for this. Like, he's the only one who can do this.
Yeah.
Like the Scadrians can't, with all their technology, apparently still survive Pachi, which is kind of fun.
I like that. Yeah.
Mhm.
But like, to return 3 times and then in the end for it to be kind of a dead end, like, with the gold medallion, that was very cool. I don't understand why there's a gold medallion, or if that just manifests like his plate with his writing on it or whatever. Did Kakopon have a golden medallion? Like, I don't know. Like,
I definitely think it manifested like the rest of the tunnel.
I guess
That's what
doesn't
I
that trigger
assume.
his memory, like the memory that he eventually has, or like that's part of it. Like, he's wearing that medallion later and he has the vision. He's got it
No,
with him.
he has the vision. He has the vision before he finishes.
Oh
after
yeah,
the
because the
trial.
vision's at the end of part 3. Yeah.
There's
Okay,
one point
you're
where the
right.
medallion feels warm.
Yes.
I don't know if that's real or in his mind.
Because he's
but
like, the entire weight of my people is with me. Yeah. I don't know what that's about.
And like, I think it works fine, but for like the central kind of mystery of not the central mystery, but like one of the main things that's driving what they're doing, that's, the reasons he and Starling are talking, like, it's a lot of like, it drives a lot of the action, even if it's just them walking through a tunnel. To be kind of a dead end, I was a little bit blah. Like, it goes back a little bit to the Isles of the Emberdark. Like, not only is it Isle of the Emberdark, it is Cavern of the Isle of the Emberdark, where we are really spending tunnel of the Emberdark.
Actually, Emberdark.
And not even
it's not in the Emberdark. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I would have been more excited if there was something else as the central thing kind of driving them along. Like, that was not my favorite plot element at the end of the day.
It's like the Pachi stuff is like the cool idea there, but it's like Starling Part 2 made it seem like things could be very expansive, and it was tunnel, like what the book could be. But yeah, so I think that's fair.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't even put this as one of the things I dislike about the book, but it's like also the fact that like the order of obstacles is supposed to be the same as in original 6 of the Dusk, and like, I don't remember that order wasn't significant back then, so it's like
it wasn't.
He has to point it out to you. Like, you're not going to be like, oh my God, he saw the death ants, and then it was, like, that's not going to happen.
Hey.
It's just like, it's like an okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
This is
I like
like,
the tunnel.
I found it a cool sequence, but it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I liked it because it gave Dusk and Starling a chance to actually interact as characters.
I mean, and I like that for sure. It's just like,
Yeah.
why is it tunnel? You know? Yeah.
Yeah, could it be a better device to get them together?
And I'm more with Bonnie on this one. It could have been better, but what we got was like did not bother me terribly because even though the Cave of Death itself was like important for the plot in that it was this challenge that Dusk had to overcome so that he can then go challenge the Dakwara. There was no like tension in him, like he wasn't trapping this cave. He had no problems going through it at all, right? It existed to give him and Starling some time to have some character moments, and I liked those a lot.
I like those.
I also really liked the whole part where Dusk is very worried about Starling, and she's like, "Oh no, I'm fine."
That was really funny.
Let me just. This seems reasonably okay. Let me let this thing. What was it? Bite me or whatever?
Yeah.
And
She's like, "Oh my god,
I'm just gonna die."
That's great.
See, it's fine. I'll just be a little dizzy for a sec. It's great.
Yeah. And like the fact that it affected her.
Yeah.
It affected her so much that she's like, oh, yeah, I'm actually going to pay attention to what you say now because that was legitimately unpleasant. It's just like instant death got nerfed down to mildly unpleasant.
Like,
and that's still enough to make her like, no, I'm not going to do that again.
That
was a wasp sting. Like, I mean, that hurt.
It was going a little bit. Ow.
It should have been nothing, but it was actually something very small.
It was definitely interesting in that, like, it kind of led Dusk to realize how the perception and the stories mattered. But it is just, I don't know. I definitely want more of like a world hoppy or Shadesmar hoppy experience. And so it being like so sequestered was fine. I don't mind. I like the book, but you know.
That makes sense. I was so excited to see them interacting together that I didn't care where they were. You could have stuck them in a room like where no one was recording or something. I'd be like, yes,
to be honest. Yeah. Like if they're both in a jail cell or some crap. Yeah, sure. Great.
Exactly. Like I would have been down for that too.
Yeah.
But there's no mystery. There's no mystery to solve. There was no mystery. They were like, what's in the cave? Nothing. Or a dream medallion. You know, like that's that's kind of where at the end of the day.
It's a challenge is what's in the cave.
How dare you not like dream medallions, David?
Yeah. But maybe in the future, there'll be some cool Isles of the Emberdark to explore. And
I will say, though, it being empty was really fun to see Deja freak out. Like that was good. So like I can see why you would be disappointed, but having Deja totally flip out. In fact, just the entire ending where he's just spiraling out of control. I love that. Like, get wrecked.
Yeah, I loved him sitting right next to the interference cloud machine because he's so freaked out by the Sleepless.
Yep.
Like, it covers the entire island, but he's sitting right next to it.
Center that copper cloud.
Yeah, just in case it covers over here more. Yeah.
I guess that might lead on to, talking about sequels and what we hope in the future, because I think my hope is to have a more exploration book, right? With these characters, which I mean, admittedly, Dusk figured out how to navigate and explore. So like we can do that, right? So I feel like there's inherently we can get that now. And I would love to see at least like one more book of this group of characters where Dusk is more a side character. We get more Starling. We expand on more of these characters. I think that would be really fun.
Yes. The thing that came to mind while reading this was back to the Cytoverse. Spensa was originally conceived as a Cosmere character. There wasn't much development there. It was mostly just like Spensa explores the Cosmere. And I do think a lot of the parts that didn't get ported over to create the Cytoverse are going to be ported to here. Like it's going to be like Starling and her starship explore the Cosmere.
Great.
I think that's just a vibe, Brandon. That's been in Brandon's mind.
I felt the same way, Ian. I do feel like if Spensa had not been moved out, we'd be seeing Spensa and the crew doing this right now. I don't know if she'd be a dragon or not, but like that, like Brandon had this character concept, and this kind of story concept that he was deciding how much to pull in and how much to take out. But that's just speculation. It'd be a good question for him. I struggle with, and this is just maybe like maybe we'll see the crew again. I'd be excited to. I would love to see more about them. I can still kind of at the end of this book not quite grasp what there is of value on the Isles in the Emberdark. Like maybe you find a new perpendicularity, but aside from that, like I don't know
That's
what there is
valid.
to find.
Or
And so I'm not sure what they're going to see.
any number of
That's
resources.
the best part.
What
And not
resources exist in Shadesmar that they can take advantage of?
Well, no, I mean other worlds, right? The AVR are valuable even without the perpendicularity and the navigation. Yes, they're not as valuable as a perpendicularity, but
I
they
can't
find them without
David's
perpendicularity.
point. Yeah, like you can't get to the physical realm side without a perpendicularity.
Yeah, and maybe that'll be commonplace, and they're just gonna be
or
like,
no,
oh, we're
like
gonna
there might be
find-
tech that lets you do that.
or
could
you
be.
find a subastral where they're like within the subastral, like you find the Rosharan subastral, and there's a bunch of Spren there that are
Sure.
of note.
Sure.
Mhm. I'm going to take the opposite end is you don't know, like, what are you going to find? And there's the question, what are you going to find? Like, there's so
Well, there-
much to explore.
See, like there
it's
wasn't
so
though.
perfect.
Like that's like in my mind, I was like, they found an island with one cool thing, and like that was the whole island. Like there wasn't like animal, like there was the skull snakes and the Dakwara, and like that was the cool things that we found in Shadesmar in this book, you know. And like they're probably like Spren is a great example, you know. Like maybe there's a whole planet, and they're like, oh cool, it's the Spren, and we'll interact with the Shadesmar side of them, and that'll be neat. But like the way the book presented it, it was like, yeah, we know where the perpendicularities are. We found most of them. Maybe not, clearly not all of them, you know, but just what is.
Like I could also see it because I want to say this is a thing in one of the books. It might be like the Arcanum Unbounded of like Arcanists like studying planets from the cognitive side, even if they can't physically go there, like they can learn.
It's in the
some
cell
stuff.
essay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like there's that can happen. There can be like discovery of new planets. It's probably easier to discover inhabited planets in the cognitive realm
Sure.
because space is very big. So it's like, oh, like, okay, like we found like there is an inhabited planet in roughly this area. Now people in the physical realm can like start
FTL
looking
to it.
at planets in that area to find the physical realm
Sure.
side. Rather than just like looking at every planet everywhere, trying to find life.
That's true. But that's not necessarily a story unless they go to the physical realm. You know, they're like, oh, I'm getting senses of the unpeopled first planet in the solar system through my Shadesmar sense. You know, like that's cool. And it's a scholar theory that's neat, but that's not a story.
The other aspect of this is being able to navigate Shadesmar has been thought to be impossible for as long as people have known about Shadesmar, practically speaking.
Or
And-
Emberdark specifically.
Yeah.
Sure, yes, the Emberdark. And that is no longer the case, right? You can find shortcuts between worlds. Like maybe you know, in a world where Scadrial and Roshar are at war, but they are confined to either FTL, which is expensive, or Shadesmar, which you're limited to like the corridors and subastrals that already exist. If you can cut shortcuts between those corridors and subastrals because you now have navigators that allow you to do that, that is, you know, there's no novel in this, but that's one reason this is important to the people of the Cosmere.
I definitely agree. It's definitely important. I'm just like, there's no hook for, aside from get the manacles off, like where they're going to do, what they're going to do. This book presents me with in terms of what there is to find in the Emberdark.
Sure.
You know?
And it's not super clear to me either, but I imagine if there's ever a sequel, or if there's ever like, if this becomes like an anthology of the dynamic goes places, it's going to be like, we're going to find ourselves in some wacky world and we'll just do hijinks there.
Maybe one with farting pancakes.
For example.
Oh gosh. Well, he says every planet he references has a story associated. So he's got to have a farting pancake story that's seeping away in him somewhere.
I do agree, David. Like it's a little unclear, like what they'll find. Like obviously, there's a point of like, oh, there's this hope that like, oh, we're opening this brand new world. But yeah, you're totally right. It's not exactly clear what that means or represents.
Can I drag a quote over from Dawn
Yeah,
Shard
sure.
here?
Mhm.
But nothing could compete with the experience of dangling from the rigging, tens of feet in the air, fresh sea air in your face while looking across an infinite plain of shimmering blue water. The vast ocean was an open roadway, an individual invitation to explore. And that's kind of the feeling here.
I get that for sure.
Brandon's putting a weight of importance on navigators, so like clearly Brandon has some idea, but you are right. I don't exactly understand where perpendicularity-less places in the Emberdark are super useful. So like I would like to see more of that and see what Brandon's thinking about there.
I mean, throw in some else colors in the mix and perpendicularities are less of a problem now.
Well, I mean, what does that mean?
Well, yeah, who do the else colors serve, Argent, based on our interaction with,
Look,
who knows?
I don't know.
Wow.
But presumably there are other arcana out there that have similar powers.
Mm-hmm. What Nas has, but inverse in the broadsheet, whatever the compass of spirits or whatever that
my
token.
God.
Yeah, the compass of spirits. Or whatever it is. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot about this.
Yeah.
Oh.
You gotta read those broadsheets. That's where all the lore is.
Nomad mentions like a weird perpendicularity when the Scadrians are asking him how he got to, like, obviously he's lying there, but they seem to accept the fact that there are weird or otherwise unstable perpendicularities that people can like fall through.
Mm-hmm. That's how Threnody is. I mean, the device that Hoyd gave Sigzil in the end of Wind and Truth.
Yeah, that's true. So that's definitely some interesting things there.
Yeah.
Any other final thoughts?
I will start us off with not a single thought, but a plethora of thoughts.
Okay.
By saying there is a ton in this book that we just could not get into because there is so much in this book.
Got a big list of episodes.
And I will just bullet points some like, we're not going to talk about any of this stuff on this episode, but just like things that we heard about that are like, wait, what? Datri, the either Aether homeworld or Aditil's homeworld, used to have a perpendicularity, and it doesn't anymore. Stuff happened there. Sleepless can be legally exterminated on Scadrial and Taldane. They are not just like mildly disliked. There is legal precedent for eliminating them. Paggy spoke. We heard Paggy and his voice.
Yes.
We got some info on Steel Fields. I don't know how much
We got the name Steel Fields.
Steel Fields are
information
a thing
about them.
that exist.
We had like 3 references of those. There has been debate within the community of what that entails, and I have some thoughts.
Sure.
We learned a buttload about like how Shadesmar works and its geography, and we got a description of the Nauthian Subastral, which is really cool. That's the first time that's happened. A bunch of dragon lore that we don't need to talk about. We heard about span readers. That was a fun little like,
That's a teletype machine.
I mean, that's an Ansible, right? But the fact that it's a span reader was cute. I thought that's fun. We had the references to all sorts of technologies like ionic force fields and virtually every like planet that we have heard of got some kind of a name drop in here.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Right?
Lodestars.
There we go. Sure.
Lodestars were a fun little thing where it's this like Nintendo Switch that everyone has that is customized to their like needs and preferences, which I think it's going to be fun to like, in the same way that people come up with their own custom shard blade designs, I think it would be fun for people to come up with their own Lodestar designs.
But how does it relate to Canonical, Argent, and their Lodestars? We have to get into.
I don't want to get into that.
See you next time for Lodestar episode.
Lodestar, yeah, coming to you 2027 when we're really out of ideas.
And the Aelikin have stories that mention the Shodel, which I thought was interesting.
We got to talk about Aelikin lore and like that. Yeah, absolutely. Hell yeah.
Definitely.
And there's more. There's a lot more. I stopped taking notes like halfway through the book.
Much.
There's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Here's my final thought. Brandon, you've now written 2 secret projects in a row with a heavy Threnodite influence, including the Night Brigade. Clearly, you cannot stop yourself from dropping Threnody lore into everything you're writing. I think it's time to bite the bullet and write the Threnody novel. I think we're there. Secret Project 6 Threnody novel. Come on.
That would be
final
really good,
thought.
though. I'd really like that.
Yeah.
I'd really like that.
It's time.
I just love the mix between, the tech, the gods, and the ancient dragons, the magic. I think sci-fi Cosmere is just an awesome setting. I'm so stoked. This is exactly my jam that I want. I could read many stories in like the space age, and I'm down for that.
I just want to say I find Dusk hilarious. He's a great character. He's so funny. The scene at the end where he's just like to the dock where it's like, you serve her now, and walks away, and Matthew's like, wait, what's happening? And he says like, you said to keep it brief. Like,
yeah, there's some great Dusk lines for sure.
It's like how much of this? It's like it has to be intentional on his. Like he knows what he's doing.
He knows. He absolutely
knows. 100% is.
Yep. But I also sometimes like him being surprised. It's like, wow, I really talked a lot there. That's weird. Like there's a few of those, which is quite funny as well.
Not like me.
Yeah, we love that.
I think for me, I really liked the scene on the ancestral ocean.
Yeah.
And just that visual. Some of the visuals in this were amazing. I'll come back to the ancestral ocean in a second, but with when we see Dusk on the Unsea just traveling along, the clouds up above, and he's got his boat. It's just beautiful, beautiful visual. But specifically going back to the ancestral ocean, just the dragons sitting there, all hanging along the side, and how long they've been there. And then, like, you imagine the footprints on the beach, just kind of as they're walking. And then Hoyd shows up, and he does the same thing he does with Sigzil, where he kind of just talks on level about his own stories versus going into another story. And then he tries to say, I left because I was bored. And I love how Starling calls him out for that and says, no, that's not what happened.
No.
So just that whole scene was beautiful.
It's definitely a highlight. I think that scene and the Zysis piano one, those are top.
And it's like the fact that the story Hoyd gives her is one that we have so much more context for.
It's true.
He's just like,
good old,
okay, like seeing the other side of things was just really cool.
Yeah, because usually it's like some distant thing that we haven't. Yeah, exactly. That's fun.
I am partial to his stories like Dog and the Dragon, where he kind of creates the story out of nothing, but it is fun to see him still interact and tell about things that we've seen.
I do like Dusk describing Shadesmar as the place of three infinities, right? The infinite depth of the ocean, the infinite breadth of the sea, and the sky infinitely far away.
It's very weird. We love it. Cosmere's cool, guys.
Also, hey, I rag on Brandon a lot. Unsea, top-notch word. So good.
That is good. Unsea. That is really good.
Worm paste is the best, though.
Emberdark, a little less good, though, guys. Like, what is going on? We don't... Doesn't make any sense at all. Zero sense.
It's like there's lights twinkling on the horizon.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Like
it's a cool word. It's just like, what does it mean?
Why is it after that city in the Sea of Lost Light? Okay, I don't know. Whatever.
He liked the name. Eric, and he's like, we're sticking with it.
We gotta name the con the Nexus, and so we'll call this the Nexus. And never mind that there's other Nexuses.
It went the other way. He named the convention after this thing.
I don't know, but I'm just saying
it's where people come together.
We've had a map since 2010 that had Nexuses on it.
Nexus is a popular fantasy word.
It's not the same thing. It can't be the same thing. Anyway, whatever.
It can't be the same thing.
Unsea's great. Unsea's great, though. Love Unsea.
I gotta add another final thought, though, that with the worm paste, when it showed up, I had this intrusive thought, what if he ate it? And I was convinced that was an intrusive thought. I thought it was the funniest thing when he actually did it.
He ate the worm paste. That was important. Yeah.
Luminist. Luminist is a really fun word.
That's good.
It's a great word.
That is a good.
Which are we going to use in the Coppermine though? We'll have to debate. Worm paste or
Luminous.
luminous?
Luminous. It's
Okay.
easy.
Well, we'll get the old debate fires raging just to be.
It shows up only once in the book. We
But it's a proper
should-
name. We love proper
But it-
names that appear
but-
once.
we
That's
should
great.
use the name that people know.
It'll be a redirect.
Yeah, worm paste.
That's fine.
Worm paste is
Yeah,
also
yeah.
very descriptive. It's a descriptive word that describes exactly what's going on here.
I love stirring the pot. There we go. Anyway,
Cool.
Deepwalker or Shadow? Next question. No,
Yeah. Well, guys, we there's so much more to talk about. Like we cruised through this, and I could definitely talk a lot more, but we're like there's
we
no
will
time.
talk a lot more.
There will be.
I feel like we've been just skimming the surface.
We
of this book.
barely
We missed
skimmed
so
the
much.
surface. So there will be plenty more. Don't you worry. And I think let's get on over to who's that Cosmere character?
This character is from Roshar.
Menace, Tien,
Tom.
Raise.
Void in drag on a horse.
It's time for who's that Cosmere character? Caw. All right, everyone. Welcome to Who's That Cosmere Character, the game show where you send 5 clues into character to wtcc at 17shard.com. I read each clue aloud, and after each clue, these guys have a chance to guess who's that Cosmere character. And we are going back to the regular queue. Wow. But since this episode is really long, I'm doing one of them. So we get one from Elantrian Wannabe on Discord. That's a good one. That's a good username.
That's Hoyt.
post or pre-Riyadh, Elantrian wannabe, just to clarify.
I literally thought you were going to talk about the date, and then you're like, was this sent in before the Riot or post Riot?
Was the middle era of Cell?
Oh, yeah. Brandon knows all about that.
I mean, before or after the restoration of Elantris, right?
There
That's
we
also
go.
a question.
Easy. Clue 1. This character has been seen talking to cognitive shadows.
Silence Montaigne.
It is not Silence Montaigne. I like that a lot.
Damn.
Chris.
It's not Chris. I like that a lot too.
Anyone who talks to a herald.
I mean,
It talks to a herald.
anyone in the court of God, right?
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, it's a broad. It's sneakily broad.
I'm gonna guess Kaladin.
It is not Kaladin. I like that.
I'll stick with my
Interactive
Warbreaker thing and go
Good.
with let's go with Siri.
It is not Siri. Clue 2. This will really narrow things down. This character has interacted with Hoyd.
What about Larimar?
It's not Larimar. I like that.
Did he? Oh,
Might
in the play.
I think
Oh, not
I think he was there for the story. Like I think he was generally with Light.
I think he was with Siri at that time. Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
It's funny how much more
So
we remember Warbreaker compared with the secret projects and things. Like
There were only 5 books for a long time.
That's true. That's true.
We read those in our
Yes.
formative years.
Yes.
Yeah, Sigzil.
It's not Sigzil.
We reread those books a lot more. Than
That is
the Secret
also
Projects.
true.
Yes. Cognitive Shadows and Hoyd.
And I guess Shallan.
It's not Shallan. We love that. Good one.
I'm trying to resist the pull of Roshar.
It's a big boy. It's a big boy. Lots of stuff going on there.
I will immediately fail that and go with Tanavest.
It's not Tanavest. Nice. We like that too. Clue 3. This character uses she, her pronouns during the story they're in.
Oh. Ayla.
It is not Ayla.
Is that a Sion?
I think
Yeah.
that's the Sion. but
Okay.
yeah.
I'm like, it's not the we're talking about the Stellae, right?
What's her name? Is it Mikasa? It's not Mikasa.
It is
The
Mikasa. Yeah.
The sleepless
I think so.
Yumi and the Nightmare Victor.
That's her name. I'm pretty sure.
Or Maka. No, I think it's
Mikasa. That's how I recall.
You
it
are
being.
correct, Ian. It is Masaka.
Oh,
Hey, hell yeah.
Masaka. Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
it
we're close
is.
enough.
We flipped the
I had all the phonemes there and
Yeah,
just in the
yeah,
wrong
yeah, yeah.
order.
The sleep. Yeah,
Thank you, Ian.
we love.
I told you to
that.
crank it up.
Trace.
The The next clue was this character is seen wearing a lot of black clothing, and clue 5 was this character has talked to exactly one Spren on screen.
Nice.
There you go. There you
Nice.
go. That's a good one.
We love that.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you all for watching. We have so much more to talk about. There is also so much Wind and Truth stuff to talk about, and the Stormlight RPG is coming out digitally days away after this episode comes out as well, and so we'll do something with that. So what's next? I don't know, but we got a big list of stuff that we can choose from. That's not a problem.
We'll have to see what availability looks like for people.
Well, that's always the thing, and whoever writes an outline.
We are not starved for content just yet.
No. Cremcast is far away. Don't you worry. We got that. So
is there even Creme in post Stormlight 5 world?
Well,
I was going to say, we could be like, well, what will keep the continents from eroding away implausibly after this?
Cremcast continues.
Yeah.
Get that outline going. You can find us at 17shard.com for all your news, discussion, theories, and fun that you could ever want. We have a very busy Discord server. All those links are in the description. Discord.gg/17shard. Nice.
Yeah.
If you want to support us, you can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/17shard. And you can vote on art polls for as little as $1 a month. And there's outtakes and other things.
Not only can you vote, you can also suggest art for us to do.
That's true.
Which is going to be topical for the August art poll, which is going to be dedicated to this book.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. And, you can like, comment, and subscribe as always. You can also leave a super thanks as well, which does not happen often. But if you want to give us money, you can directly there or on Patreon. If it's burning a hole, if the gold is getting warm like Kakaban's medallion at the end, and you want to just give it away, you can. Maybe don't give Kakaban's amulet medallion away. That seems important. But
You can give it to me.
Yeah, sure.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how regifting works with. I think what matters is that you overcame the challenges of the Cave of Death and subjugated the Dakwara. The medallion is an artifact.
He regifted Devathi almost immediately,
That's true. Yeah, who cares?
Yeah, it's fine. Easy peasy. Anyway, we will see you all next time.
Bye.
Ta-ta.
Peace.
Caw.